this little light. Yeah, I had this light on in the car. My daughter gave it to me, and it's like really too bright. So I turn it off. So today is my daughter's birthday, y'all. It's 12 o'clock, so y'all say happy birthday to my baby girl. We just got back in from doing deliveries, y'all, and I still got the app running in the background right now, and I got the car parked this way just so I can pull off and take one. But I'm trying to really stay focused, y'all. There's so much going on. I'm gonna review some notifications. I slick was listening to a video just now, and I said, let me just go live. You got jaws dropping with how good you are looking, and the other one say you transmuted the pain, sent chills down your spine. Do it again. I hope y'all been enjoying y'all day today. Well, yesterday, you transmuted the pain. That one is there again, and that one is so I got a double jeopardy or three. Chosen one. Whoa, you sent chills down their spine. So I need a little uplifting today.
The training wheels are coming off today, chosen one.
I really
And
had
what
a
that
hard day
means will
today,
shake
but
the foundations of everyone who thought they had
I
you
made
figured
it.
out. There's an electric current of transformation running through your spine whenever you
I didn't
catch
think I
yourself
would
in the
make it
mirror.
today with
Now,
the
no
stuff I
longer
needed
seeing
to
the
get done.
person who used to apologize
I
for
barely made it,
existing,
but I
but
did.
someone whose
So
eyes carry the weight of
I'm gonna
cosmic
pat myself
authority.
on the back
Something
and try
fundamental
every
has
day.
shifted in your
That's all.
cellular structure, and the universe is about to make its announcement through every cell in your body, every
And to the
word you
fat baby
speak,
seems,
every room you
I'm gonna
enter.
try. I'm gonna
They've
give it
been
all, my
watching you,
all.
these energy vampires who thought they could feast on your light forever. The
Thank you.
ones who made you their emotional dumping ground, their project, their convenient source of supply.
You know,
But
y'all,
here's what
I'm
they
learning
don't
more
know.
to be grateful. And my sister used to tell me this when we was young, but it had registered until now. That's why we meet people for a reason. We are tired of people for a reason because those very words is what keeps me going today when I'm going through shit. You gotta appreciate the struggles because it teach you a lesson. So like in every blessing, there's always a lesson that you gotta learn from it, and it's like it's self-explanatory with my situation with everything is like that's the best, that's the positive spirit that I have to carry around. People
What
don't
they
know that
couldn't
I'm like that
possibly
all day
comprehend
every day because
is
I
that
have
every
to.
drop
It's the
of
only
poison
way
they fed you was
I'm gonna
actually
be able to keep
medicine in
going. So I'm gonna
disguise.
like this
Every
video already.
betrayal was inoculation against future manipulation. Every moment they tried to
It's
break
giving me
you
chills. It
was
say
the
you sent
universe's
chills
way of
down their
showing you
spine,
exactly what
but the video
unbreakable
giving
looks
me
like.
chills.
The slingshot has been pulled back as far as it can go, and the release is about to send shockwaves through every
I'll
dimension of
have it.
reality these people thought they controlled. The same souls who whispered about your struggles are about to become reluctant witnesses to something they can't explain, can't diminish, and definitely can't stop. But this journey doesn't begin with your victory. It begins with the last time someone underestimated you. Three forces converged to create the perfect
Oh
storm
shit.
that would either destroy you completely or transform you into
There
something
must be a
beyond their
hole in
wildest
this mic.
nightmares. They were
Let me
counting
see.
on destruction. The universe had other plans. First force, the relationship that was supposed to be your salvation, but became your education in what conditional love actually costs. They wanted your light, but not your authenticity. They
Thank you,
demanded your
Father. Thank
energy,
you. Thank
but
you
offered nothing in return except the
for
privilege of their
everything.
presence.
First of all, I want to stop and just thank God, like for everything, for the struggles. With that being said, we're gonna thank Him for the struggles first because we learned something. And He entrusts us to go through things because He not gonna let us go through nothing we can't bear. So you gotta look at it like that, cause I do, and it makes me whole again immediately when I say, you know what, God, you got something planned for me with this shit. So let me just go ahead and get through this damn obstacle course. That's how my life is every single day. So I want to thank Him for entrusting me for all the struggles, the things that teach me how not to struggle when you in a similar situation. It teaches you what not to do, what to avoid, who to avoid, things not to indulge on. It teaches you the person that you really supposed to be, because sometimes we get really comfortable in life. And I would say that because some of the blessings that God give me, it makes me feel comfortable in a sense. And you want to feel comfortable, but in this lifetime you can't. You gotta be prepared for things that may happen. And now these days I'm trying to prepare myself mentally and physically. And it's a task for me because I got so much stuff thrown in my path. But I'm up for a challenge. So I'm thanking God for trusting me with everything that he allowed to happen and things that he don't allow to happen, because he know I'm worthy of better. I'm thankful and grateful for all the people and places and things that he cleared out of my path, because he see that I was being too slow with moving and acting on whatever he wanted us to act on. So even those situations, you want to thank God for those, because he did something that you just couldn't do. In the midst of things, I want to thank God for always uplifting me in the midst of the struggle, in the midst of the storm, when you should be breaking down and falling down. It uplifts you when you could go through things alone. And that's the whole point of when God take you through things alone. It gives you that warrior spirit. So I want to thank him for that.
You poured yourself out like water in the desert, and they complained about the taste while demanding more. Second force, the financial trap that seemed designed to keep you
I'm
small,
looking I'm
desperate,
listening
and
to
grateful for
Obsidian
scraps.
on
Every
YouTube,
door that should have
and it say
opened
chosen
remained
one.
sealed.
Whoa.
Every
You sent
opportunity
chills
that should
down
have
their
been yours
spine.
went to
For
someone
those who
less
want to watch this
qualified
on
but
the
more connected. The pattern was so obvious it felt orchestrated, because it was. The universe was creating the exact conditions necessary for you to stop seeking
let's get
approval
affirmative,
and
y'all.
start demanding what you deserved. Third force, the family and friends who masqueraded as support systems while systematically undermining your confidence. Their favorite game was making you question your own reality. You're too sensitive. You're imagining things. Maybe you should lower your expectations.
Hmm.
Each phrase was a brick in the wall they were building around your potential, but they didn't realize they were actually constructing the very foundation you'd eventually launch from. These three forces
I like
formed a
that.
triangle of limitation around your life, and for a moment, just one terrible,
It's like
beautiful moment,
God
you
is saying, but they don't know what you formed from. They don't know what obstacles you done been through to get to whatever situation you at that they question.
almost broke. The pressure was designed to crush you, and it nearly worked. Your nervous system was screaming. Your bank account was empty. Your heart was shattered into pieces so small you wondered if they could ever be reassembled.
Hmm.
That was the moment the universe was waiting for. Because here's what they never taught you about chosen ones. You don't break the same way regular people break. When the pressure reaches its maximum intensity, when the walls
Because you
close in
hold
from
stuff
every
in.
direction, when there's literally nowhere left to run, that's when your true nature reveals itself. You started saying no, and the world lost its mind.
Hmm.
No to the relationship that required you to shrink. No to the job that insulted your intelligence. No to the family dynamics that treated your growth as betrayal. No to friends who only called when they needed something.
Hmm.
No to anyone who confused your kindness with weakness.
Hmm.
Each no was a detonation in their carefully
Yes, sir.
constructed
Yes, sir.
reality. They built their entire sense of superiority on your willingness to accept less than
Yeah,
you
special shout
deserved.
out to these
Your
creators that take their time out to allow God to use them, because the words it be so touchy sometimes, y'all, that you can only say, God, I know you're real, because he used people when he want to give you a message.
compliance was the cornerstone of their self-esteem. When you withdrew it, their entire world started crumbling. But here's
Like,
where the
God, I know
journey
you
gets
watching this
interesting,
shit.
where the first major revelation hits like lightning through
Yes.
your consciousness. You weren't just ending toxic
Come on,
relationships,
baby.
you were severing energetic contracts that had been binding you to lower
Draining you
timelines for lifetimes.
mentally,
Every person
physically,
you walked away from
spiritually.
wasn't just a current connection, they were ancient patterns finally being resolved. Your soul had been carrying these karmic debts across multiple incarnations, and this lifetime was your opportunity to clear the slate forever.
Mm.
The nightmares that plagued your sleep weren't just stress responses, they were download sessions. Your consciousness was being upgraded with information you'd need for what was coming next. The anxiety that consumed your waking hours wasn't malfunction, it was calibration. Your nervous system was adapting to carry frequencies that would have destroyed your previous version. Meanwhile, the second dimensional shift was accelerating beneath the surface of your awareness. While you were focused on dismantling your current reality, a cosmic battle was raging in dimensions you couldn't see.
Tired
I
of waiting
like
for
that.
payday?
I like
The
that.
Earn an app gets you paid as you work. You can get up to $150 per day with a
Y'all, today I made a
Forces-
struggle 5-star meal. You gotta say 5-star struggle meal that tastes. It's no excuses.
that had invested in keeping you small were fighting desperately against forces determined to see you rise. This wasn't metaphor. This was
$8
spiritual
for the
warfare
whole
conducted through synchronicities,
everything, even the chicken.
obstacles, and opportunities.
Chicken was $5.
Every door that slammed shut in your face was actually
Vegetables.
protection from
Made the
paths
bread
that
from
would have led
scratch
you away
because I
from
ain't
your
have
true
nothing.
purpose. Every rejection was
Biscuits.
redirection towards something infinitely better. Every delay was the universe buying time for the perfect
Oh, I forgot to
conditions
post
to
it.
align.
I vlogged
The people
myself
who
doing it
abandoned you
because people
during your
wouldn't believe me.
transformation weren't making individual choices. They were being energetically repelled by your rising frequency.
People
Like
tell me
oil
to
and
try.
water, you were
Baby,
becoming
that's what I do
incompatible with anything
every
that
day.
vibrated at the level of limitation,
God see it though.
manipulation,
He
or
see it.
mediocrity. But the most crucial element of this invisible war was the systematic dismantling of your old identity. The person who used to seek approval, who apologized for existing, who made themselves small to make others comfortable, that version of you had to die completely for your true self to be born. This death wasn't gentle, it was excruciating, messy, and absolute. You grieved for the person you used to be, even as you celebrated your freedom from their limitations. You mourned the relationships you'd outgrown, even as you made space for
Makes
connections that would actually nourish your soul. And just when you thought you couldn't survive another moment of the dissolution, the third revelation exploded into your awareness with a truth that changed everything. You are not just a chosen one, you are a cosmic correction. Every system that tried to break you, every person who attempted to
This makes
diminish
me
you,
smile,
every
y'all.
situation that pushed you toward despair was actually an unconscious conspiracy to forge you into exactly what this world needs most. Someone who cannot be bought, broken, or bullied into compliance with mediocrity. Your struggles weren't random cosmic cruelty. They were specialized training for a mission you're only now beginning to understand. The universe needed someone who had
Makes a lot of
experienced the
sense,
full
baby.
spectrum of human suffering and
It's like, let
emerged
'em
not
do it, baby.
bitter, but
You're
wise,
built for this
not
battle.
closed, but more open than ever. Not broken, but unbreakably whole. The timing of your awakening isn't coincidental. The world is in crisis, and the old systems of control are failing spectacularly. What's needed now are beings
Thank
who
you,
can hold
Obsidian,
steady in chaos,
on
who can
YouTube.
transmute pain into power, who can look at destruction and see opportunity for reconstruction. You are that being. The
Thank you
energy
for being a
signature
blessing
you're
today,
now
for
broadcasting
being
is
who
like a
you are,
beacon calling others who carry similar
and having
missions. The
discernment,
connections forming
and
around
actually
you aren't
using it
random
to help other
encounters.
people.
They're reunions with
I
souls
like you.
you've worked with across multiple lifetimes. Your tribe is assembling, and together you represent a frequency of consciousness that can literally reshape reality.
See,
But recognition brings responsibility, and this is where the stakes become cosmically significant. Everything you've been through has led to this moment, the choice between stepping into your power or remaining in the safety of the familiar. The universe has done its part by clearing the obstacles, upgrading your frequency, and assembling your support team. Now the decision is
weaving
yours.
out the
Option
obstacles.
1. Retreat back
So
into
grateful.
comfortable limitation. Pretend this awakening was just a phase. Return to seeking approval from people who will never see your worth. Accept whatever scraps the world offers and call it gratitude. Option 2. Claim the throne that's been waiting for you since before you took your first breath. Step into the role you've been unconsciously preparing for your entire life. Become the force of nature you were designed to be. The universe is holding its breath because this choice doesn't just affect your life, it affects everyone whose existence you're meant to touch, heal, inspire, or transform. But here's what the universe knows that you're still learning. You were never going to choose option 1. The training was too thorough, the transformation too complete, the mission too important. The moment arrives with absolute certainty. In the most ordinary of circumstances, the extraordinary reveals itself.
Mm.
The final lock clicking open, the last chain falling away, the ultimate barrier dissolving into nothing. You are free. Not just free from the people who drained you or the situations that trapped you,
Yes, sir.
but
Yes,
free
sir.
from
All
every
that.
limitation you ever accepted as truth.
I can
Free
feel
from the
it
belief that you have to
in
earn love, deserve abundance, or prove your
me.
worth. Free from the illusion that your power is dangerous or that your
Yo,
light is...
I'm looking at myself in the mirror. I ain't finna be a peasant. I ain't finna die. I don't mean to tell them that I gotta lie. When I was coming from the bottom, I was headed out the back. I see them hating from a distance. You could join the crowd. Matter of fact, you could stand in line. Why that nigga had to lie to me? I told him I would be down into the death of me, but now he can't leave. But she said I was one in a million. Like I didn't know that, and I got her in her feelings. I told her that I never leave because I love her, but she rather listen to these bitches when they rather be with me. I'm trying to get missing in my A's where I'm from.
too bright.
Just makes me
The
happy.
person who used to apologize for taking up space is gone
Thank
forever,
you, Obsidian,
replaced
on
by
YouTube,
someone
baby.
who knows they were born to reshape reality itself.
It's
The
the type of
energy that once
validation I
sought
be needing.
validation from others now generates its own approval. The heart that once broke from
Just so
betrayal now beats
in
with the rhythm of
tune with my
cosmic purpose.
spirituality.
This is your cosmic
Give it
bar
to me,
mitzvah,
baby.
your spiritual graduation,
Uh-huh.
your energetic coronation, all rolled into one
Mm.
earth-shattering moment of recognition. You are
Thank
no
you,
longer
angels,
becoming,
baby.
you have become. Power
I
floods
love
through your
all
system
y'all,
like
baby.
electricity through
This is
circuit boards designed
confirmation,
to handle
baby.
exactly this voltage.
The
Your
confirmation I
eyes
needed
begin
today.
seeing patterns invisible to ordinary consciousness. Your voice carries frequencies
It's
that
like you could
bypass
do anything
rational
to me at
mind
this point.
and
I'm
speak directly
smiling
to
all the
soul.
way to the bank.
Your presence becomes a catalyst for
Like, hurry up and do it,
transformation
babe. Get
in
it over
everyone
with.
you encounter. The gifts
Bless
you
me
always
spiritually.
carried but never trusted suddenly feel as
I
natural
think
as
you want
breathing.
this.
Your intuition operates with laser
I can
precision.
say less
Your
now.
ability to
Come
read
on,
energy
Father.
becomes supernatural. Your capacity to
Show them
transmute
better than
lower
I can tell them.
frequencies into higher ones reveals itself as your primary function in this reality. Money begins flowing
It's like people don't realize I'm only broke because I'm systematically drained. So I hate when y'all be mean to me.
toward you, not
I
because you're
be
chasing
so
it, but
sad.
because abundance recognizes
She can
its
go
own.
cry in the car. I be
Opportunities
so
appear from
sad.
impossible directions because impossibility has been deleted from your operating
But
system.
thank you, Father, for
People
taking
treat
me
you
through it
differently,
so I can
not
see
because
life
you're trying
differently,
to
to help
impress
people
them,
differently.
but
Because when
because
I get there,
authority
babe, this only
recognizes
temporary.
authority.
Thank you to everybody who showed me never
The
to be
universe
you.
starts reorganizing itself around your
I still never
expanded
be you.
frequency.
Even after you never
Synchronicities
did
become
shit for
so
me,
common
I'ma
they
help
feel
your
like the
folks.
natural
This
order of
what I do.
things.
I get a kick out of life
Manifestation
like that.
happens so quickly it's almost boring. Problems
Thank you,
solve
Father, for
themselves
showing me.
before you're
Thank
fully
you for
aware they
guiding me through
existed.
this.
But perhaps most
Everything
importantly, your
is
very
important.
existence becomes proof that transformation is possible. Without saying a
Every
word, you
little thing
demonstrate
is
what
important.
happens when someone
Every
refuses
detail.
to stay broken. Your life becomes a masterclass
Well,
in
of course, I
resurrection,
analyze
a living
everything, so
testimony
I
to the
needed to
power
see
of
every
choosing
detail of
growth over
disgusting behavior
grievance.
from
But
each and
let's not
everybody
sugarcoat it.
that
The truth is still
participated
hidden.
and chose
It's
to
been
ignore
twisted.
and didn't
It's been
participate.
buried under
I still saw
censorship,
everything, just like the
algorithms, and
angels
fear.
did.
Yet your
But
heart
see, I'm
never
still here in the
stopped
physical. I could
recognizing.
change shit that the
Never
angels
sue
can't
the other
get too
driver after
fast,
a
bitch.
car accident. There's a better way to get paid a way bigger check without
Yeah,
having
Father,
It's
he
real.
said this is how
That's
we
why
teach
you're
people how
still
to be
here.
kind. Because
That's why you
everybody
never
monkey see,
tapped out,
monkey do.
because
I
you
want
felt
them to
the
be so upset with me of my success that they try to outdo everything I do. End up blessing everybody, bitch.
simulation glitch beneath your feet. You know this world is rigged, and
Come
you're
do what
done
I do
waiting
and do
for
it better than
permission
I
to
do it
rise.
too.
The obsidian inner
Bless
order
everybody,
wasn't
bitch.
built for the curious.
Forcing
It was
people to bless
forged
each
for the
other.
committed. This is for the
You
full-time
need to get the
chosen.
garden. He said,
The
I don't
ones
want to
who
hear that
came
shit.
to
I
lead.
saw everything you
The
did.
ones who
Yeah, you
see
got a lot of
beyond
money.
the veil
What the fuck
and
did you do?
act anyway.
Niggas
Inside,
don't
we
realize
hold
that.
weekly Zoom
Let me
calls
show
that
them.
cut through the noise. We share hidden
You don't
teachings
gotta be in no
most were
brotherhood
never
groups.
meant
You
to
don't gotta do
hear.
none of that
We
shit.
train in psychic warfare, strategy, and spiritual
You on your own
technologies
path
they've kept
anyways.
locked
None
away
of
for
that shit don't
centuries.
even count.
This is the toolkit for the real ones, the ungovernable, the impossible to erase. It's time to remember who you are. The link is in the description.
Thank you,
Your
Father, for
real
showing
life
me
begins inside.
everything.
Remember the three forces that tried to break you.
Everything
They're
must
about
go.
to receive their cosmic education.
Hey
The
y'all, this
relationship
man in the pantry used to say this every time we came in West Palm Beach food pantry. Everything must go. And I've been hearing that a lot. Everything must
that
go.
demanded you shrink watches in stunned silence as you expand beyond their ability to contain
Everything.
or
It's
control.
deep. It's a deep
They
meaning
reach
to me.
out with weak
Might get it
attempts at
tattooed somewhere. Everything
reconciliation,
must go.
suddenly aware of what they lost, but you're no longer available for their conditional love because you've learned to love yourself unconditionally. The financial
When
systems
I
that
pass
kept you
away,
trapped
take a photo of
discover
that
they have no
tattoo.
power
Everything
over
must go,
someone
bitch,
whose
so you
worth
don't
comes
cry.
from source rather than
Cause baby, I get
circumstances.
my wings before
Doors
I
that were
leave.
once
By
locked
the way
begin
I
opening
move every day.
automatically.
So I could
Resources
tell
appear
God
from
this before I
streams
go
they
to
never
sleep every day.
controlled.
I'm
You've graduated
successful
from
as
their
you wanted
game
me to be.
entirely.
With no money in the bank.
The family and friends who undermined your confidence find themselves face to face with someone they no longer
I did free
recognize.
labor, Father,
Your growth holds
for the
up a
world,
mirror to their stagnation,
not just
and the
myself.
reflection makes them uncomfortable. Some will celebrate your transformation, others will resent it. All will be forever changed by witnessing
I
what's
bet you,
possible.
I bet you, with all the millionaires and people in the world, they can't say that. They gained a lot of material shit. They didn't gain shit for a community. They didn't do shit for a homeless family that's struggling. You can't just choose to bless who you want to bless. You got to bless the ones that need to be blessed. And motherfuckers don't want like that. But we going to teach people every day how to be kind, one person at a time, so that they could do that for themselves.
But here's
That's
the
my
beautiful
mission in
plot
life.
twist they never
Let's
saw
teach,
coming.
let's teach,
You
teach,
feel nothing
each one
but
teach one to
compassion
be
for
kind.
their confusion.
Fuck
The
all the
anger
other
that
shit.
once consumed you has been alchemized into understanding.
Let's
You see
paint
their
our
behavior
auras
for
with
what it always
electricity,
was, fear wearing the mask of
magnesium
superiority. Their need to
of bees,
diminish you
bitch.
was never about you.
That's
It
the
was
type of
about their terror
That's the
of
type of
their
bank
own
I want.
unrealized potential.
Let me
The
pull
souls you were
something
meant
from
to
my
connect
spiritual
with
bank. I need
begin
it today.
appearing like magic,
That's
made
what I'm doing.
manifest. These aren't the needy, draining relationships of your past. These are power partnerships with beings who recognize
So
your
when
light
folks see that I be fucked up, let me tell y'all my secret. When folks know I be fucked up and know I'm just fucked up, there's no way out. And you just see me pop out with a lottery ticket or win a lottery ticket, let me tell you, because I grab from my spiritual bank, bitch. The way I move, I don't have to have no education in that motherfucker. It's all good intentions, everything I do. So I know that what I'm doing right now is I got good intentions for it. Guess what? I just put money in my bank. Every time, every time, every time, every time. So guess what? When a fuck nigga put me in a situation, we just gotta say it like that because the nigga I be on my shit too much for me to be even fucked up. I should be a millionaire. But anywho, just to be sarcastic, when I get fucked up in the bunch, with niggas with their panties in the bunch, they don't like that shit. Guess what? I pull from my spiritual bank. I manifest that shit. Cause it's that simple. You just manifest it. It's like the angels, they allow certain things to happen because they know you got a wild card somewhere. She gonna finesse and get out. Cause I do. Every time got 9 lives left, bitch. So when I'm in a fucked up situation and y'all see me with that lottery ticket, she just spiritually manifested exactly what she need, and she don't know how to manifest bigger. That's why she's still in a fucked up situation. You think she ain't getting blessed, but I guarantee you she's being blessed spiritually. She might not have all the brotherhood groups to back her up and push out the fucking bucket real quick, but she getting out that motherfucker. Yeah. Oh yeah. I like the way I said
they
that.
carry their own. Conversations flow like
Trying to think
poetry
positive so
written by
good
the
things can
universe
happen, right?
itself. Collaborations emerge that feel divinely orchestrated. Friendships form that
Feels good to
transcend
not have to
ordinary
cheat your way
human
out of life
connection
too
and
anyways.
enter the realm of soul
When y'all in these little
recognition.
groups and shit,
Love,
y'all
real
don't do
love,
nothing organically.
arrives
Y'all
wearing
get
the face of
everything
someone
from
who
y'all
celebrates
brotherhood.
rather than
Niggas like
tolerates
me,
your
we gotta
intensity.
go through war and
Together,
back.
you create ripples that become waves that become tsunamis of positive change.
So you wanna feel
Your
like a
combined
warrior,
frequency begins
drop all
shifting
the
the
roads,
consciousness of
tell them you
everyone in
good.
your orbit. Without effort or
Plus you
agenda,
blessing
you
your own
become
aura and your
catalysts for the
folks' aura
awakening
before
of
you.
others. The isolation you once endured
But say
reveals its
less, right?
purpose. You needed to learn to stand alone so you could stand strong with
See,
others. The
so
rejection
in
you
sync
survived was
with the
preparation
angels.
for recognition that actually
Say
matters.
less.
The abandonment you experienced was training for the kind of loyalty that transcends circumstances.
Just
Your
amazes
transformation
me.
becomes the foundation for something
Gotta give
far
myself
greater
much
than personal
much more
success.
credit than I
The
do.
pain you transmuted becomes medicine for others walking similar
I'm
paths.
listening to
The
these little
strength you
pissy ass
developed
niggas.
becomes inspiration for those still struggling to
God
find
bless
their
you with
own.
discernment.
The light you learn to shine
Fuck 'em
becomes a
and leave 'em.
beacon guiding others home to themselves. Without trying to be a teacher, you become one.
Each one teach
You're
one.
still purchasing your lenses from your optometrist.
I know y'all notice how everything I said from
Without
the
seeking
prayer
to be
and
leader,
all,
you attract followers. Without
angels use
claiming
this
to be a
damn this
healer,
vessel to
you help
tell you
others
exactly
heal
what I
simply by
said.
being living
In
proof that
sync.
wounds can become
Come here,
wisdom,
baby. Let me talk
that
to you for a
trauma can
second.
become triumph, that anyone can rise from the ashes of their former life. Your transformation spreads not because you tell it, but because it's written in your energy, your presence, your unwavering confidence in your own worth. People feel it when they're near you. The possibility of their own transformation. Your very existence becomes permission for others to claim their own
Yes,
power.
yes.
But here's where the plot takes a turn that even you didn't see coming. The universe wasn't just preparing you for personal transformation. It was calibrating you to become a living manifestation portal. Your thoughts now carry
I
the weight
get,
of
I
cosmic
get that.
law.
Oh, look at
What
I
you
get
focus on
orders.
doesn't
Oh,
just
not $2
influence
for
reality,
7 miles.
it commands it.
Hold on,
The
y'all.
visual
Y'all gonna have to hear it because see, look, all this time I still got the lines open. Yeah, it's my baby birthday today, so I'm trying to be optimistic. Even though I know I should not be going out here this late. Okay. All right, y'all, let's do this. Cause Uber, I've been waiting on you for a minute, mate. Oh, y'all want to see? Look how much I made all day. I should show you the time I've been out there. Hours. And they don't send me nothing. When they do, it's like 18 miles for $5. Like, are you kidding me, bro? $2 for 7 miles. I think that's what that one just said. They already give it to, I love Uber though, y'all. You make more money on Uber. But I just don't like, I gotta say it's my opinion. I don't like how they split the money like that. But it also it's good for the customers, I guess, because they get to change the tip based off your service. That's good. But for the ones at a certain tier, Uber should change it. And maybe I should give them a proposal because they all be listening to me. Tell them, listen, for the people that are at a certain rating, you pay them immediately because they need gas. They need just realistic. So, y'all, I'm trying to figure out, did my app just erase? And it's moved all the way in the folder. Okay, I must have did that. Sorry about that, y'all. I had to stop, turn the Uber off. They need to send me like a $15 one, at least an $8 one. But yeah, that was 2 orders that I did for $5. By the way, y'all, that I showed y'all 2 orders. I did one for $2, one for $3.50 or something like that. So let me go back and finish this.
Sessions you practiced during your darkest hours weren't just coping mechanisms. They were training for this moment when your consciousness would become a direct interface with the quantum field itself. Watch what happens when you speak with absolute conviction about your future. The universe scrambles
See,
to
I didn't
rearrange.
even need to tell y'all that they don't send me none because that whole time the Uber was on and y'all didn't hear now one dun-dun. You just heard it just that one time.
Circumstances to match your
Sorry
declaration.
guys, but that's how
Resources appear from
that's how
impossible
my life
sources.
is. Everything
People
is chopped the
surface
fuck
with
up.
exactly the skills your vision requires.
But I'm gonna get there.
Timing aligns
There's no
with
complaining.
mathematical precision.
I'll just
What
sit in
makes
the evidence.
scientists weep. This
This
isn't
is
positive
temporary,
thinking.
baby.
This is metaphysical mastery earned through the crucible of your
I just hate
transformation.
for people to leave me in the gym stranded because it determines how I interact with you because I'm on the spectrum, y'all. I like to say it a lot because it explains a lot about me. But y'all, I'm just saying certain things I can't help. That's why I say that. So the people irritated with me saying it, it's like a trophy for me. I'm gonna say it as much as I can so you understand. Hey, but anywho, like sometimes when people do something to me, as much as I want to put it to the side, my mind won't let me forget certain things. So it's like our relationship probably will never be the same. That's why I always encourage people, if I'm being nice to you, please be nice back because I already don't give effort to everybody. Ooh, people would tell you that. Like I'm not I seem friendly, but I'm really standoffish. Like I will avoid you to the core. Like I don't care if you was my next door neighbor. I'm going to avoid you to the core if you're just aura just off to me, or you just make me nervous, or you just, especially if you cross me, I am going to avoid you. Even if you made up, you done paid me and on chickens and all that shit, it's still going to be different. So I would be, if I was people and you like me, just be kind to me, give me the same gestures I give you, if more, because that's going to make me do more. Let me just start right now.
Every tear you cried was salt water, blessing the soil where miracles would grow. Every night you couldn't sleep was preparation for consciousness that operates beyond ordinary limitations. Every moment you thought you were losing your mind was actually your mind losing its limitations. The money that once
I
felt
like how
so
you said that.
scarce now flows toward you like iron filings to a magnet.
Come here, baby.
Not because you're chasing it, but because abundance recognizes its own frequency. The client's opportunities and
Bitch,
windfall.
I love that. I had to curse. Abundance recognizes its own frequency. Hold up. That's the best way to describe my motherfucking life on E, stranded in the woods. Ching ching. Hey, we heard you need. I'm being sarcastic with this one, like a sci-fi movie for real. Like coming out the bushes with gas cans and tons of people like, I got the gas. No, I got the fighting to give me gas. Like my life is like a movie.
Appearing in your reality aren't coincidences. They're
Can't
confirmations
cry
that you've
long.
graduated to a level of consciousness where lack is literally impossible.
Okay,
Your
who's
bank
writing me
account
on
becomes a
YouTube?
reflection of your inner abundance. Your living situation upgrades to match your elevated frequency. Your wardrobe transforms not because you're trying to impress anyone, but because your energy demands clothing that matches its magnificence. Even your physical appearance shifts
This
as
is
stress
funny.
dissolves.
This is funny. This is hilarious. No one could have known this but the angels. Listen, this is funny because just yesterday, y'all, I pulled out my fucking business attire, and I'm like, why? After an hour of no, this shirt is hot, and no, these pants is too tight, and no, this, I'm like, why the fuck am I putting on? Almost, you might well say a suit. Why am I putting this on? And it's like, I don't know how to explain it. Every day I get encouraged to want to even do that, even though I don't most of the time. But I would start off with this button-up shirt, and you know what I'm saying, or you know, because I feel like I get better tips like that. Because at some point, y'all, I used to actually literally wear a suit during the winter though. I used to actually wear my blazer and some jeans or something like that. But I used to dress like that, and I used to get big tips. So recently, I've been like trying to implement that certain days. Like, okay, I'm gonna get really dressed today, get real cute, gel my hair up, like some pixie girl. Those elderly rich ladies love that shit when they see me come there with my pigtails all gelled up and my blazer on, and I get extra tips because I really don't get tips good. I mean, I really don't get a good batch from DoorDash and Uber too much. It be the customers that change it last minute, or because when they after they see me, it's like, oh God, oh yes.
Vitality floods every
I
cell.
promise y'all, if y'all do gig work,
The most shocking
dress business
revelation.
wise, they
You're
like
not just
that.
manifesting for yourself
I think
anymore.
DoorDash got
Your
secret
elevated
and Uber
state
got secret
creates a
shoppers
field
too that's
effect
watching
that
you.
begins
Either or,
manifesting
they like
miracles
that
for
shit.
everyone in your vicinity. Friends start getting unexpected opportunities after spending time with
So
you.
yeah, I got my blazer out for
Family
tomorrow.
members
For today, my
experience
daughter's birthday
breakthroughs
today,
they've been
and
seeking for
we
years.
finna get the business
Strangers
attire
leave
on today.
conversations with you feeling
Make some
inexplicably
big tips for
hopeful
her.
about their futures.
Y'all, did I tell y'all my youngest daughter? I'm so proud of both of my girls. Like, but my baby girl, she's always been like 2 steps ahead of me and her sister. Like, she got both of my kids. I tell people this since they was little. Both of them got my traits. It's just like it's just one or the other though. It's not both of them got both. Like this one got my downer side and that one got my upper side, and they both fucking smart in their own way. The youngest one who walked at 7 months, similar to my grandbaby. This is why the whole world's studying us. But being sarcastic, y'all. But my grandbaby walked at 7 months, just like my younger daughter, and she's so similar. And I keep telling my daughter every day, she reminds me so much of Sky. And let me tell y'all, Sky walked at 6.5 months. Like she really just went out there at 7 months though. She went walking under the coffee table at my mama's house out of nowhere. But this girl knew everybody's birthday. She knew how to write it and say it at 3. Like her writing wasn't real good, but the girl was writing stick figures and stuff that made sense at 3. And guess what? This girl is graduating high school at 15 years old. This girl is already getting. This girl is trying to work, and I keep having to. I'm kind of praying sometimes, like please, because I want. She's my baby. Like I'm not ready to give her to the world yet. Like, can you just wait one more year so I can still feel like you my. You know what I'm saying? You working and stuff. You already graduated. But she want to make her own money, y'all. And it's like I like really want to treat her today, and today I already got, she don't know this so I can say it on here, we got a couple museums that I booked for her, a while back. One of them I can't do tomorrow. I didn't realize I booked it and it was so expensive, and y'all, I would have took her anyways. But the other two is very affordable, and we definitely gonna hit it up today, and I'm gonna record depending on how Sky feels or whatever. But she totally want to vlog and stuff, so she may be down for the vlog in the museum. But y'all, today I want to show people, and I told Sky that I was gonna do this without showing her, but I want to show people that are budgeting, because everybody in the world got kids nowadays. You're budgeting, there's always a way to make the birthday happen when you are low on funds, or even if you don't have much at all. I'm gonna show people tomorrow, because plenty of birthdays I've had to do this. And makeup after, y'all know how it be. You do something simple on their birthday, then makeup later. I had to do that a lot. So today we got to do that, and we have a planned makeup that she has no idea about, because it's like it's gonna be a tsunami of celebrations. Like, you thought that was it. Oh, you thought it was over. Oh, and you thought it was over because she deserved it. Plus, let me tell you, I told y'all the story of my girls going to DCF. I like to voice this a lot, because there be maybe some girls that's going through it, the DCF situation. Y'all could ask me certain things. If I know, I'll tell you. But based off what I went through, y'all, which I can't even really complain too much, because even though they shouldn't have been in there to begin with, but the people did, the group home that they ended up with, the last one, did make me feel comfortable. They did treat the girls with love. But the point I was trying to make is that when my daughter them came back, they was really traumatized, like, because they hadn't seen stuff they never saw before. The oldest one was touched by the end in there. Like, it was just a lot. So my youngest one, when she got back, she was talking back. And mind y'all, my girls never talk back, never. And I did. So I'm being honest, I used to be that bitch right there. I talked back, and my mama will tell you to this day, I changed. I did a 360. I wouldn't dare curse out, and if I do, I'm gonna feel so horrible. I used to feel horrible when I did it though, but I was an angry child, just angry, because of the life things that I was putting myself in, because I was spoiled. People don't realize that. They saw my struggle, they didn't know I was spoiled. I was spoiled by my mama, my stepdaddy, and my daddy. Because even if my daddy was broke, he made people do stuff for me that was crazy. But anyways, like, just blessings on blessings. But y'all, it's the spectrum in me. My youngest daughter, like, literally, when it come down to my grandbaby, y'all, I mean, when I say my my oldest one should be proud, and I know she is because she said all the time, but she really needs to feel proud of who she is first. Because her sister always looked up to her. She wants to be just like her sister. And I'm always tell my oldest daughter, please watch what you be doing and show your sister because you know she want to do everything you do. She think you are so awesome. But because she love her so much like that, she is like the perfect auntie slash babysitter because she get her fun. She be quick to say, "Oh, if you give me $20, I'll keep the baby today." You know, she good with that shit. She get her dough. But she's the perfect auntie because when I be listening to her, like I sent her $100, and she just told me yesterday, Mama, look, you sent me $1,500 so far this year. I said, oh God, you've been looking. How did you see that? She done found a way to see it on Cash App. But I say, yeah, you spend most of it. You can't count it because most of it you spend on your niece. Because what she do is, I send her $100. She on Sheen or whatever site she on, and done pulled the baby about 5 items and come to me and say, oh well, and don't want me to see that because she don't want to say no. You get yourself something, but I get that for the baby. But she's so sweet. She say, Mama, it's no way I'm gonna let you struggle. Next year, I'm gonna be graduated and I'm gonna help you get another house. And I just looked at her, got her cheeks and squeezed them. I said, you don't have to do that, but it's so sweet that you want to do something like that. Show me that when I'm old and need to be in the nursing home, she gonna be like, let my mother. She coming to my house. That's the one. My other daughter might let me sit in the nursing home, but this one right here, oh no. If she got a 1 bedroom, she is getting a 2 or 3. Mom, you got a lot of stuff. We getting a 3 bedroom. I'm taking care of you. But I'm so proud of both of my girls because both of them are so sweet. Even with my oldest one, it's just she's been through a lot and then feeling abandoned when that happened to her in DCF, and I couldn't come get her. So she's kind of angry with me because she said I left her in that we done been through therapy and she's being rebellious to the one that she was going to, so we gotta find her another one. But she knows that she's taking it out on me, but she's at a point where, plus she's a Leo, y'all, she's at a point in life where she just does not care. Like, hey, no, in her heart she feels like no one cared about me and I shouldn't care. And she's trying. The only thing is right now that I'm kind of like just praying, because that's the only thing I can do. She's grown now, is that she decides to take her scholarships, y'all, because she's doing cosmetology just to fit in with everybody because the area we in. That's why I want to move so bad. But she want to fit in with everybody else. She done switched to cosmetology real quick. But guess what? She had a paid full scholarship to go do for art and design and excuse me, had a way to where you was gonna be covered. You won't have to pay for materials. You won't have to pay for. I was trying to give it to her the blueprint like that because once you done with that, they intern you. You making money right now. If you going to school for all of that, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to worry about paying for stuff. You don't have to worry about when they stopped her SSI. That's what kind of like made my daughter panic a lot because she's like, I don't need that little, because people pick at you when you get a check. So she said all her friends and people pick at her. She don't want to have a check anyway. She wants to do stuff that she has no clue of what it is until she finally get there. I love that she's encouraged. She would try, and oh my God, an interview here, and she called me about to in tears. Oh, can you? And I tell her that's why I told you to get your degree, because what you will be doing, you won't have to be in. You won't have to be among so many people that don't understand you. And trust me, I've been there, done that. She take that art serious. This girl to be making. This is what I tell her. You could be making $2,000 per painting. You could be making it ranges, it varies. You might get one $500, you might get 150, but you on a day you might get one that costs 1,500. Somebody might want to pay you $3,000 to make a couple of them for them, and now all you had to do is sit home, relax. You spend time with your baby. You know what I'm saying? Plus, the schools that she was going to offer daycare. I told her you have the opportunity to still be, because you the baby here now, but you still want to feel that college feel. And you already rushed life, is what I'm trying to say. You already a grown up fast. Now You do something like this and go on campus, you get to socialize with, because gonna be other girls that got kids there, because the campus got a school downstairs, daycare downstairs. You gonna She not want to listen to me right now because she got all of these different friends and people in her ear. But I know my daughter, and she looks up to me a lot. Like we are very close. This is the most distance we ever been, and I saw the drought recession happen after her coming back from DCF. Like it just they really ruined our bond, and because I am the mother I am, she snaps out of it a lot. But it's just still it is what it is after her, just whatever. But she can't help it, and see, I'm an understanding mom, and I know she appreciate that because I'm able to forgive her. I'm able to say, you know what, I got you. I got you with the baby. I got you with this. If you ain't got it, call me. I got it. I'm still gonna be that way for her, but to be honest with y'all, it's really, really, really complicated at this point, and that's why I always ask y'all to pray for us because my baby ain't. Both of my girls did ask to go through that. They didn't deserve to go through that. I should have been suing people a long time ago, but I'm a really nice person. I'm an understanding person, and I know that all money ain't good money. I just try to live, in a way that, I know I'm gonna be abundantly blessed. I know that everything I touch, God gonna bless me. And because of all of that shit that happened, my girls are, I'm talking about abundantly blessed. Sometimes they see it, my oldest daughter worry about her baby, and she noticed right away how God got that baby. It just be random shit, and I'll have to stop. Sometimes we be crying. Most of the time we just stare at each other, and I say, "You see how God blessed that baby?" Because when she left, when they was in DCF, while they was there, I was at the end of it getting them. I'm just a little voice, a little piece, because this tore their hearts up. She said, "Mom, God would have never. Why would He leave something like that in that nature? But why would God let TCF take us from you, or something like that?" And my eyes got so watery. I was at a visit. I was there at the visit when she said this, and I had to hug her, not to get personal with everything she said. It was very, very sad. I had to hug her and say, "Baby girl, God is watching everything. This is why you're still here. This is why I'm able to get you. You gonna come back." And she said, "Mama, they said that we're not going back with you." That shit, all of that tore my kids up. So for us to be going through the stuff we be going through, people should really recognize that we fought a war, a silent war that nobody know about. We still survive it, not just fought through it. We still survive it because it's continuously happening. But I'm just leave it alone. I just like to say my piece because I don't know how life, may end. I may not even make it tomorrow. So I want to be able to justify myself before anybody else speak for me.
Your relationship with your own energy becomes a precision instrument of creation. You can feel when your frequency dips and immediately know what
I'm
caused it.
still
A
traumatized
toxic
by it because,
conversation.
y'all, all I did was curse those guards out for letting those prisoners flirt with my kids. That's all I did. And that shit triggered on me, switched on me to me going to jail and losing my kids. No community support, nobody, people just telling me to learn my lesson when really they should have learned their lesson not to be racist. That's the truth.
An environment that doesn't match your vibration,
And
thoughts
talking
that
to
belong to your
a
old
spectrum
identity,
person.
they all
It
register
should have been
instantly
somebody
on your internal
that was
energetic
trained
monitoring
to deal
system.
with a situation
More
like that,
importantly, you've learned
rather
to
than say the
manipulate
girl crazy and take her kids
your frequency at will.
for a year.
Feeling scattered, you know exactly how to center yourself. Experiencing doubt, you have techniques that restore confidence within minutes. Encountering resistance, you can shift your
People don't
energy to
realize that
dissolve
we going
obstacles
through that.
before they
Like we
fully
going through
form.
that.
This
I'm
energetic
still
sovereignty
traumatized
means
by
you're
that
no
whole
longer at the
situation, y'all,
mercy
and
of
I
other
carry
people's
myself
moods,
well to have gone
circumstances
through that.
beyond your control,
People don't. I
or
don't
the
think people
collective
realize that.
anxiety that plagues most of humanity. You carry your own
If
weather
I
system.
was mentally and unstable or whatever people want to label it, y'all, I would not be able to hold myself up the way I do after going through all of that shit that happened to me, sitting in jail for 3 weeks, walking for 9 hours straight out of jail, not getting my kids back 8 months later, y'all. That was my rock bottom that I did not cause because I was breaking my back. I was going hard. I was spending 1,500, 2,000 a month on hotels, y'all, and paying my car because I had a car note at the time and paying my car note, y'all. and making sure my kids didn't go without food because they wasn't always giving me food stamps. They always stopped it. They always stopped it. But I always had money saved up. But it's just like all of that just made me, it wore me out more. Now I could barely walk these days. Now I have to pace myself these days. And for a society to deny me, communities to deny me, people to scapegoat my whole entire situation, make a mockery out of my situation at that, and still don't help. That puts a damper on the person mentally and physically. But if they able to suffice the way I am, then people should give you more credit. But of course, we live in a world where credit ain't due until it's really due to that person. And what I mean about that, people won't give you credit until it fucking justifies them in a way, or what's the word? I could just say it pays them.
System, and it's
People don't do
permanently
nothing for
set to
free. They don't even
brilliant.
give
The
justice
people
for
who
free.
used to drain your energy discover they can no longer access it without permission. Your boundaries aren't just
I
emotional
speak for
anymore. They're
all the
energetic
people on the
force fields
spectrum,
that
kids,
automatically repel
adults,
anything that doesn't
men,
serve your
women,
highest good.
elderly, babies.
Manipulators find themselves
I speak for them.
mysteriously unable to hook into your emotions. Energy vampires discover their feeding tubes have been permanently severed. But perhaps most remarkably, you've become a walking transmission station for higher consciousness. People don't just feel better around you, they remember who they really are. Your presence activates dormant DNA, awakens forgotten gifts, and reminds souls of missions they came here to accomplish. Without effort or intention, you've become a catalyst for the planetary awakening. Your sphere of influence expands beyond anything your previous self could have imagined, not through force or manipulation, but through the natural magnetic pull of authentic power. Leaders seek your counsel, creators want to collaborate. Visionaries recognize a kindred spirit who understands the mechanics of reality transformation. The projects you touch turn to gold, not because you're Midas, but because your frequency transmutes everything it encounters. The businesses you're involved with thrive beyond projections. The relationships you nurture
On that note, I like to say this because when I be doing these orders, I give excellent without even being paid what I should get paid. Listen, I be saying this to myself getting in the car. I know I made DoorDash look good just now. I made Uber look good. They should appreciate that because I go above and beyond to not only make sure they get their food hot and ready like Little Caesars logo. I make sure I keep them updated from the very moment I got that order and pull up to that restaurant, letting them know if the line was long down to they didn't give me this, I asked for utensils. I let them know everything because they're gonna get credited. Like one time this person didn't get a lady chicken and her stuff. Told me, but I know I had to make sure I went above and beyond to make sure he refunded my customer, and I let the customer know right while I was waiting. Soon as he told me, instead of you just giving it to me, dropping it off to her, she could be getting it prepared right now. You know what I'm saying? You just said it's not there. DoorDash gonna send it back to her once you get it, because you say you don't have it. They can go to a different place, or this customer can get credited for it, because chicken costs a lot to be added to that lady order. I order that all the time, so I know the chicken made a big difference, and they were just gonna skimp her out and give it to her. So I did my dollar, made sure I informed the customer, made sure I informed DoorDash, and also made sure they refunded her for her chicken, because he had lost when I said it over 3 times. Like, hunk in here. Oh yeah, I'll make sure. Then he went to the register and did it. So at that point, he was not finna refund that lady her stuff. And then guess what? Either I was gonna get a review, and if I didn't, if DoorDash saw through that, now the customer gotta wait to either be credited, might not, but DoorDash, they usually credit people when they see faulty stuff like that with the restaurant. But they gotta wait now, because they gotta put it in another order to get it somewhere else. Now they food cold, they can't eat it with that. But because I did it like that, she got her order coming right to her. She probably only had to wait about 5-10 more minutes for the other DoorDash to bring it from the other store.
Evolve into incubators for collective awakening. Your words carry frequencies that unlock
Keep the
potential
flow,
in
baby.
whoever hears them. Your social media posts go viral, not because of clever algorithms, but because truth resonates at the cellular level.
If you look younger than your age, you might be one of us. If you've never broken a single bone,
Your casual conversations plant seeds that bloom into
Thank you,
life-changing
Father. Thank you, baby.
realizations weeks later. Your very existence becomes a masterclass.
Y'all
in
know
what's
what I
possible when
noticed? even when you going through stuff, even I noticed this today. So, maybe I noticed it before, but I noticed it really evident today. Like, even when you're going through stuff, when you know God is behind every door that shuts. You know that God is, I say behind the door that's shut because you got that sense of God gonna open that motherfucker back up. Let me just keep going where I'm going. I come back and double back and be open. Like, it helps you, it helps enlighten you, y'all. This is why I choose to come online when I do these videos, y'all, because these videos, these messages, y'all, and I ain't gonna even lie, the songs hit better. I just wish I could play the songs on here. The songs be so direct, baby. And that's why songs in the Bible is another important scripture to pick up on every day. Pick one from Songs, because those are angel messages.
Someone fully embodies their
That's just my
cosmic
opinion, though.
identity.
My
The
observation.
resistance you once faced
The
from
whole
those
songs
threatened by
is
your growth
angel
has
messages.
transformed into something entirely different: reverence. Even your former detractors find themselves secretly studying your moves, trying to decode the source of your seemingly effortless
Because
success.
angels
They don't understand
like
that
to
what they're
use
witnessing
music.
isn't luck
That's
or
why the devil tried
manipulation.
to take
It's the
over
natural
the
result of
music.
aligning with universal law. Your influence ripples outward in ways you'll never fully comprehend. A decision you make creates opportunities for someone you've never met. A boundary you set inspires another chosen one to claim their power. A stand you take gives others permission to
Come on,
stop
baby. Let me
compromising
talk
their
to you
truth.
for a
Your
second.
transformation has become a permission slip for collective evolution. Time itself bends around your intention now. Deadlines that would stress others feel like gentle suggestions to someone operating from your frequency. Projects that should take months complete themselves in weeks. Healing that typically
So y'all,
requires
did
years.
I told y'all what I could, but let me tell you. I was so mad because I couldn't make my quota right. So I come back to the house. I make another, get a few snacks, come to the house. I go in there and create the most 5-star struggle dish you could find. Carrots, veggies, cause I bought a little stir fry. I had a budget of $10. Y'all, I'm not embarrassed of this cause my daughter was like, "Oh, come on, let me get some more." It was so fucking good. But I had a budget of $10. Was left out with $1 and something because I didn't spend the whole thing. I literally got some chicken, veggies, onions, stir fry, uh, and a lot of the other stuff I had at the house. I forgot what else I got for the house there, but I got chicken from Kroger for $5, y'all. Some poor shit the day before. Like the day before type shit, it was already in the freezer. I put that shit together. It's like we left a 5-star restaurant, hibachi. It was so tasty, y'all. And then I made the biscuits. I learned this method. But my grandma taught me how to bake stuff. But I learned this cheap way. I rather say, because the way Granny did it, she had the whole everything, the yeast and all that. But when I stayed in West Palm Beach, I had to walk places, and I didn't feel safe walking over there. It was in the hood, and I used to have flour all the time, y'all. And I said, I did every step Granny said and skipped the ones that with the ingredients I didn't have. And I said, I'm going to just try it anyways. Y'all, and my substitution, I think, was sour cream or yogurt. I think it was yogurt or sour cream. But this time, I used yogurt because I always have yogurt. Man, when I say them buttery biscuits, they was garlicky. And I didn't use nothing but flour, butter, some salt, some cinnamon, and vanilla. All of this stuff in the pantry already. And you couldn't tell that we were struggling because it was so freaking good. I don't know how to bring that up because when I'm up against the wall, I come up with creative things, and I feel like that'll inspire other people because sometimes you got to work with what you got, and it come out better than what it would have been had you those other plans that you had in mind. I just look at it like that because it always end up like that.
In moments of focused intention, you've learned to work
When
with
you
cosmic
slip,
timing rather than against it, and this
the angels
partnership
be
has
funny.
made you infinitely more effective while requiring significantly less effort. When the universe wants something to happen quickly,
Yeah.
it flows like water downhill. When it needs more time to align circumstances, you sense this and adjust accordingly without frustration. Your scheduling becomes almost prophetic.
Like I got that. Like when things happen, like let's say for instance, see, people don't understand the spiritual concept of things and why it happens in alignment. Like you might have somebody cross you or do something to you. Like that's, we're not speaking on it. And it happens. Let me tell you why it happened. Because it's two reasons. One of the reasons is because that karma is gonna boomerang in your favor and something that you need favor in. Also, because something that's about to happen, you're not supposed to be in alignment with it. Whatever that person did that delayed you was right on time, because they're gonna get karma anyways. But you just got good karma. It's like another wild card you got because you just did a two whammy. You just avoided some fuck shit, and now you just blessed yourself on some other shit. So I feel like
Intuitively know when
that's
to
why
push
certain
forward
things
and
happen.
when to wait. You can sense the energetic windows when manifestation is most potent.
It's all about
You've learned to
alignment.
surf the
When
waves
things are
of
in
cosmic
alignment, it's gonna
momentum
happen.
rather than swimming against invisible currents.
Mm.
This temporal mastery extends to your ability to heal past trauma instantaneously and create future outcomes with laser
I
precision.
like that because people be thinking I be stuck on stuff when I speak about it. Like I get over stuff quick. Like believe it or not, I may seem like I be attached to stuff, but my problem that I hate. See, y'all don't notice it, but this is something I notice and hate at the same time. I notice how I'm able to just get over people, places, and things so quick because some things I don't be ready to get over, and I be like, I'm done with that shit real quick. I don't have emotions, or if I do have them, I don't know how to use them because when people die, I don't cry. I probably cry when I miss them and want to call them. Like when my dad died, I was so shocked. Like I was more shocked than sad because I didn't know how to be sad. And it may sound crazy because I'm a daddy's girl. So trust me, I'm not trying to sound shady. I'm just telling you, someone that I love so much, I did not cry, y'all. Like I was just more in prayer and if anything, but I didn't cry. Same with my grandma. I did not cry immediately, and that's my favorite person in the world. Like I don't cry over things that people cry about, and that's probably why I seem so sensitive because I cry about stuff that people, it don't even phase them. And I hate that because it's like certain things I'd be like, damn, why am I so attached to this? And then some things I'm like, damn, why can't I just be like, interested? Why can't I, like, yes, I beat myself up when I'm not interested in things that I want to be interested in, like people, places, and things. I am like really distant when it comes to my feelings with things that I be needing this certain type of validation that helps me allow my thoughts to accept it. Like, okay, this is something that I'm supposed to do versus I don't understand this shit. It's not for me. Because pretty
You
much
understand
that's how
that
my
linear
mind is.
time is an illusion, and from your expanded perspective, you can influence events across all timelines simultaneously. Past wounds resolve themselves as you rewrite the energetic signature they carried. Future possibilities align themselves with your current frequency.
Because
The
I
most
like that.
profound
Because in my mind, like I feel like if I don't know how to do, because I'm so used to figuring stuff out when I don't know how to do something. It's just like school. When it's time for me to learn something, y'all, once I get it, I feel so encouraged. So I'm so used to being able to figure out stuff that if I can't figure something out, I figure it's not for me. And that's just how my mind is. And I won't give no effort to it. That thing, that subject, whatever it is, I won't give any effort naturally. And if I force myself to do it, it drains the shit out of me.
aspect of this timeline
I guess
sovereignty
I know
is your
it
understanding that
sounds crazy.
everything, every betrayal, every loss, every moment of confusion was perfectly orchestrated to create exactly this moment, not by some external
It's for the
force,
researchers,
but
y'all,
by
I
your
guess.
own higher consciousness operating from a perspective that transcends individual incarnation. You were always the author of your own story. You just forgot for a while that you were writing it. And now, as we return to where this journey began, everything has changed while staying exactly the same. The training wheels are still coming off, but now you understand they were never really wheels at all. They were the last remnants of limitation that kept you tethered to a reality too small for your true magnitude. Their removal wasn't loss, it was liberation. The people who thought they had you figured out are still watching, but now they're witnessing something they can't explain, can't diminish, and definitely can't stop. Your transformation has become their awakening, whether they want...
Y'all know that song? What I can't think. Is on my brain. He like, I love you. I can't get the tempo. And everything you do. Cause I...
it or not. The energy vampires who thought they could feast on your light forever have discovered something that will haunt their dreams. You were never prey. You were always the predator, just temporarily disguised as food. The hunter playing wounded until the moment was right to reveal your true nature. Your smile still cuts through illusion with the precision of divine truth, but now it carries the added weight of someone who has journeyed to hell and returned with souvenirs. Your presence still fills spaces with authentic power, but now that power is activated, integrated, and absolutely unstoppable. The universe looks at its investment in your development and
That's an angel
smiles
song,
with
y'all.
satisfaction. Every trial
It
was
was right on.
perfectly
It's like
calibrated.
the angels was
Every
telling me
challenge was precisely
it's in the
timed.
energy.
Every seeming setback was actually a setup for something magnificent. You transmuted this pain like a gangster because you were one, a spiritual gangster operating in a reality that thought it could break you. But gangsters
The
don't
angels
break,
say I'm
they
a
adapt,
spiritual
they
gangster, y'all.
overcome, they
Come
take
on, y'all.
what's
Let's
theirs and protect what they love with lethal efficiency. The pain was never your
let's
enemy.
uplift
It was
these
your
angels,
trainer.
y'all.
The
That's
struggles were
some
never
bossy
punishment.
shit.
They were preparation. The isolation was never abandonment. It was incubation. Everything that seemed designed to destroy you was actually designed
Let's
to
uplift
forge you
the
into
angels,
exactly what you've
baby.
become. Unbreakable, unstoppable, and absolutely undeniable. What's around the corner for you will make everything you've survived seem like a
Receive it.
warm-up for the main event. The universe has been preparing the stage, assembling the cast, and writing the script for a
So
performance
y'all, that
that
was
will leave reality
Obsidian.
itself standing
Chosen
in
One. Whoa,
ovation.
you sent
The
chills
training
down that
wheels are
spine.
gone forever, Chosen One. But what you have now is infinitely better. Wings forged in the fire of your own resurrection, strong enough to carry not just you, but everyone, brave enough to fly alongside you into the impossible made manifest, and that transformation, that absolute metamorphosis from someone
I
seeking
really like
approval
this
to
message.
someone generating it, from someone accepting scraps to someone creating abundance, from someone hiding
Oh, I
their
didn't
light
see this.
to
I got
someone
one in
whose
my
brilliance
notifications on my
literally
phone.
illuminates the
I guess
path
I'll
for
listen to
others.
that one.
That is exactly what the universe
I
knew
got
you
it
were
40
capable of
minutes
all
ago.
along. The gangster has emerged. The chosen one is fully activated, and the world will never be the same.
I like that I just got butterflies. So this one for my notifications, and I'm gonna read some core. Oh, I can't
The
read
first
core.
rule
I'm on
of
the wrong
spiritual
phone.
warfare is this: when someone initiates a humiliation
Okay,
ritual
this is
against a
Astral
chosen
Arden.
one, they
Chosen
better
one,
make
you
sure they
you
understand exactly
unintentionally
who they're dealing with.
obliterated the
Right
whole
now,
plan.
while you're living
Now
your
look at
life
him.
and minding your own business, someone else is conducting an elaborate
I guess I'm
campaign
gonna like this
designed to
one already.
warp reality itself. This isn't casual gossip or petty drama. This is systematic psychological warfare
Yeah.
with your name at the center, your energy as the target, and your destruction as the ultimate goal. But here's what they don't know. Chosen ones
I got
don't
my
just
grandbaby
survive
on a
these
sleep
attacks.
schedule,
We
the right
alchemize
sleep
them into
schedule, so
rocket
she's
fuel.
sleeping through the
The
night.
person
God,
orchestrating
that
this
girl
campaign
there.
believes they hold all
Woo,
the
need
cards.
a whole
They've
army.
positioned themselves as the narrator of your story,
All
the
hands in there.
director of your reputation,
I'll do it.
the
I'll do it.
architect of how others perceive you. In their mind,
It's like 20
they're
kids in
conducting
one.
a masterpiece of manipulation where you play the role of the obsessed, the desperate, the broken one who can't move on.
But
They've
y'all, my
cast
daughter is
themselves as
blessed.
the
She's so blessed to have me and her sister, and she got the help of her granny mentally, both of her grannies, on the mama side and the daddy side, way from Miami. I saw that she's so blessed because most people don't have it. Most people don't have love. This is what we talking about. Forget that they ain't give you no money. Forget that be her thing. She got me and her daddy in her, but mostly she what she get from me is the best part because she's very grateful. She's very grateful, even with just gestures. And I tell her gestures are better. It's like gold. It's like you, because it motivates you. You get that validation of being appreciated with things like, I see you doing that. You know what I'm saying? Everybody need that. Not just kids, not just adults, not just young adults. Everybody need that.
Prize,
Everybody
the one
need
who
that.
graciously moved forward while you remained pathetically attached.
To be
But the
recognized
universe operates
for
on
your
laws they've
deeds
never
that you
studied,
do.
and chosen
To be
ones function under
accepted. To
principles
be
they've never
loved in
encountered.
return.
While they're busy trying to author your humiliation, forces beyond their comprehension are already authoring their exposure. The very foundation of their campaign contains the seeds of its own destruction, and you magnificent, powerful, you are about to become both witness and beneficiary of the most spectacular
Yeah, I'm
backfire
claiming it
and
now. My life is gonna be so abundantly blessed that I'm able to bless my babies, especially that granddaughter, that little smart little girl. We want her to see the world. We want the world to see her. We want the world to know she's here. She's arrived, y'all.
manipulation history. Here's what's actually happening
Because
behind the
she's so
scenes of their
intelligent, y'all, to be so young. It just
elaborate
amazes me
performance.
every day.
They're using your
It's
name
like,
as ammunition
am I
in
really a grandmother?
conversations designed to make others jealous. Every mention of you becomes a
Such a
strategic
proud
weapon
grandma.
deployed to
And
suggest that you're still attached, still hoping,
I was really
still
sad when my
orbiting
daughter
their
first told me she
supposedly
was pregnant,
superior
but seeing this
existence.
baby is
They
just,
paint pictures of your
it's like,
alleged
I
desperation
gotta
to
get
make
out of
themselves
this
appear more desirable to new romantic
struggle that
interests.
we in.
They craft narratives about your supposed inability to move on to make themselves seem like the
I can't
prize that
allow,
everyone fights to keep.
I can't
The
allow
psychological sophistication of this campaign is actually
these traps
impressive in its
or my
calculated
physical health
cruelty.
to hold me back
They've
at
studied
this
your
point.
triggers, mapped your vulnerabilities, and designed their attacks to hit exactly where they believe you're weakest.
Y'all
They
heard
know
that?
which mutual friends are most likely to carry information back to you. They understand which stories will sound most believable to people who don't know
Hold
you
on,
intimately.
man. I was
They've
talking. Let's
recognized
go
every
there.
private moment you shared, every insecurity you revealed, every dream you confessed. But there's a fundamental flaw in their strategy that will prove fatal to their entire operation. They're fighting someone who no longer exists. The person they're targeting, the one whose reactions they've predicted, the victim they've scripted, that version of you has already been transcended. While they were busy planning your destruction, you were busy becoming indestructible. The first signs of their miscalculation are already emerging, though they're too intoxicated by their own perceived power to notice. The people they're gossiping to are starting
Intoxicated
to
by
ask
perceived
uncomfortable
power.
questions. Why is someone who supposedly moved on so focused on their ex's emotional state? How does someone who claims to be the winner spend so much time talking about the person they supposedly defeated? The contradictions in their narrative are creating cracks in their credibility, and those cracks are about to become chasms. Meanwhile, your actual energy signature is telling a completely different story. The peace radiating from your presence contradicts every tale of your alleged desperation. The confidence in your voice when you speak contradicts every story of your supposed breakdown. The joy in your laughter contradicts every narrative of your rumored
I
obsession.
like that.
Reality and their fiction are diverging so dramatically that even casual observers are beginning to notice the gap. This
It's like,
creates
cause everybody be saying, "Oh, she," I know these situations I be in is made to make me look like that. That's why I'm learning to say less with certain things. Certain things I'm gonna say if I want to say it, but I learned to say certain things and not to say certain things because I see that people want to prove that, like, she just fucked up. She just like it just like diminishes my credibility with everything I say when I allow people to do that to me because shit, if I was mentally unstable, I would be moving around the way I am with life against my little ass. See, say what you want to say, but that's the truth at the end of the day.
first fundamental tension that will drive everything that follows.
Yeah, I
The
got a
collision
crazy
between
characteristic,
performed
but
narrative and
mentally,
authentic
I'm here,
reality.
boo. I promise you.
They're expending enormous energy, maintaining a story
I'm a
that
little
becomes
glitchy.
more
That's the
implausible
spectrum,
with
but
each
don't call it
passing
mentally
day.
ill.
You're expending zero energy countering their fiction because your
That's my
truth
mission
speaks
in
louder
life,
than
to
their
prove that
lies
to
ever
people.
could.
Because
This energy
y'all
differential
don't play
is
with
about
me
to create
like that. Don't do me
consequences
like
they
that.
never saw coming.
Just
Stop
because I'm
killing
talking
your
about
iPhone
stuff y'all don't
speakers. They
understand,
don't
maybe you
want you
should
to know this
research it
secret. The next
before
time your
you
speakers
know.
sound muffled after
For you
The
debunk anything I
second
say,
driving
research that
force
shit.
emerges from
It's
the
not too
spiritual
far-fetched.
principle they've unknowingly activated, the law of energetic reflection. Every attack they launch at you becomes a boomerang trajectory that will eventually return to its sender. Every story they tell about your alleged
Yes,
desperation
I love
reveals
that
their own
background
hidden
music, man.
desperation. Every moment they
Is
spend
this
focused on
charger?
diminishing you becomes a moment stolen from their own growth and healing. They're about to discover that the universe doesn't permit the sustained persecution of chosen ones without exacting a price from the persecutor. The third dynamic involves the community of people witnessing this entire drama unfold. Unknown to both you and your antagonist, everyone
I
around
just
this
said
situation is being
in the
educated
live.
about character, authenticity, and the difference between performed confidence and genuine self-possession. Your behavior under fire is teaching lessons they'll remember long after this situation resolves. Their behavior under the delusion
It's so
of power
personal
is
hearing that
revealing
because I
truths
say
about
that
their
to most
character
people that do
that can
things
never
to
be
me that's
unseen.
evident.
But the most significant force of all is the one they cannot see because it operates beyond their level of consciousness.
Which
Your
I learned to say
transformation,
this. I promise you
while
I
they're busy
have.
trying to keep you trapped in an outdated version of yourself,
Oh,
you're
because
evolving
don't
at an
think because y'all don't
accelerated
hear me
pace.
talk about this
Their
type of stuff
pressure
that
is
it's not
creating
happening
the
every
exact
motherfucking
conditions
day.
needed
I
for your
just choose to say less
metamorphosis.
now.
Their
And
opposition is
eventually you won't hear
providing
me
the
mentioning it
resistance
at all.
required for your strengthening.
Because I see what's
Their
up.
attempts to diminish you are catalyzing your expansion into
It's more
someone
like, damn. That's all I feel now.
could never
Like,
diminish.
damn.
The stage is set for the most spectacular reversal
Niggas
in
was talking about these
manipulation
niggas
history.
do me out and
They
not
believe
even
they're writing your
justify my
tragedy,
fucking face.
but they're actually scripting their own.
Cause
They think they're
they
directing your
view you like
humiliation,
that already,
but
B
they're
baby.
actually choreographing their own exposure. They imagine they're
They
controlling
don't
the
want to see you
narrative,
blessed
but they're
anyways. They
about to
liking it.
discover that chosen ones don't exist within
So I help you
narratives.
out of that
We
shit.
transcend them
That
entirely.
shit makes sense.
The humiliation ritual has begun,
Come
but
on,
not
baby.
for who they think.
Let me talk to you for a
The
second.
first crack in their carefully constructed facade appears when their closest allies begin to notice the obsession. The contradiction becomes impossible to ignore. Someone who claims to have moved on completely, yet brings you up in conversation more than
The
any other
angels,
topic.
the angels
Someone
is.
who insists they're over the situation, yet seems to know every
Thank you for
detail of your
sending me
current activities.
kind
Someone
angels,
who
Father,
portrays themselves as having
that
won,
don't stop
yet
for
spends
nothing,
significant energy
that go
convincing
hard.
others of their victory. Their friends start exchanging glances. Their new romantic interests start asking pointed questions.
Gentle angels,
The very people they recruited to validate their narrative begin to recognize it
giving
for what
angels.
it actually
They even
is,
give,
the
baby.
desperate performance of someone who can't let go. But here's where their campaign takes a sinister turn that reveals the true depth of their desperation. They're not content with simply bad-mouthing you to mutual friends. They've escalated to actively trying to interfere with your progress,
That
your
makes sense.
opportunities, your connections with others. They've
When I
become
tell
so
y'all somebody called SSI and told them my daughter not only was she not disabled, she was working for them to stop that girl stuff. When this girl had to get an amniocentesis before she was born. Since they found real chromosomes, bitch, that determined she was going, you know what I'm saying, need assistance throughout her life. I had to explain this to people to say this, my baby, that don't mean she's slow. She's actually very smart. Her IQ is very top notch. We just process shit different. That's it. But the point I'm trying to make is like people, what he just said is real. Like people been calling places to get my stuff taken. Like imagine soaring through life trying to give it your all, doing the best that you can, and people deliberately fuck with your shit. I don't think y'all hear me.
Vested in your
Father,
failure,
I don't think
that
they
your
hear me.
success feels like a personal attack on their reality. This isn't just gossip anymore. This is sabotage. They're reaching out to people in your professional network, planting seeds of doubt about your character. They're monitoring your social media activity with the dedication of a full-time investigator. They're creating fictional scenarios designed to make you appear unstable to anyone who might be getting close to you. The casual cruelty
And like I
has
said in my live, y'all, the other day, I've been trying to work on my reaction when people do little snake shit on purpose. Because I be feeling like motherfuckers is getting with they people and saying, hey, I'm finna show you some shit. This girl, watch this. She gonna get pissed off. I'm starting to look at people like that because I see your reaction while I'm going off. I think about that shit when I leave. Like, that bitch was tapping his friend, but you was telling him, watch this shit. People do that shit to be a lot because it's funny. Like, I promise y'all I don't be trying to be funny, but when I get pissed off, I say stupid shit. And some people like that. And then it helps other people that's trying to make me look unstable just look like I'm having a fucked up day when really you just came over there, step on her toes when she have a problem with stepping on her toes. Like, I'm just being sarcastic now because that's not really what be happening, but people do love snake shit. And I learned this recently. I learned that if I could control my ignoring, because I am an ignore queen, and I noticed that when I ignore people, this might be bad, but it helps me a lot. If I get my ignore game back to ignore people, I would daydream at you when you do this shit. Cause it's like I black out somehow, and it's a good blackout. Cause I ignore everything you fucking do, and it makes you feel shitty. Cause it's like you're talking to a wall now. You can't get through to me. I be having the thickest ignore skin that you cannot get me out of that trance, and I'm gonna operate like I'm, you know what I'm saying? And I've been doing that lately so that I can ignore bitches that try to get me to look like that, because you got other folks that's trying to say, oh, she crazy as fuck, so that I can't do what God just had me do for millions of people, is prove that this corrupt ass program exists,
Evolved
bitch.
into systematic
But if you
warfare,
get me to
and
look
they've
crazy, then
appointed
everything I
themselves as the general of
presented
an army fighting
was
against your peace. This
uncredited,
intensification reveals something
because she
crucial
lose
about
all
their
her credibility.
psychological state. They need you to fail more than they need themselves to succeed. Your healing journey threatens the story they've built about themselves. Your growth contradicts the narrative they've crafted about your weakness. Your happiness exposes the emptiness of their performed contentment.
See, y'all
They're
gotta,
not just
when people
attacking.
try to put you in positions to get you out of character, you may want to learn that blackout treatment, that method, to ignore them, because ignoring is a powerful thing and it can help you. So sometimes people may be doing that same thing to you to get you to look irate, to get you to fit a certain criteria, so that you could be labeled. And that's the worst thing. And it's in different levels, in different ways. You don't want to be viewed that way, period. It's not fun.
They're defending against the threat your transformation poses to their entire identity. But this is where their fundamental
Then if you're dealing with
misunderstanding of
a relationship, a friend, or anybody that's provoking you by you doing that, it makes them look like the bad guy that they are, versus you just being irate in a bitter black woman, or a bitter baby mama, whatever.
natural law creates the first major reversal. The universe doesn't permit the sustained persecution of someone who's genuinely trying to heal and grow. Every attack they launch activates protective forces they can't see and defensive mechanisms they don't understand.
I like that.
Their escalation isn't hurting you, it's accelerating your elevation.
It's like,
The more
even when stuff happen, it could delay me, and I still feel. That's why I said early in the live, like, I'm at a point in life, like, even when I'm going through shit, I still be happy sometimes. Most of the time it get to me, but most of the time it's like I think back, like, damn, I'm worried, fucked up, whatever. Why the fuck it's feel like Christmas or something. Like, what's gonna happen good? Like, I feel myself saying that a lot. And I promise you, y'all, it helps encourage you. And then you get to do the touch and receive on whatever you need, because you out in action. I spoke of this a lot to y'all in my lives, that if we carry the system that we already do every day, the head, the stomach, the tail, and the feet method with everything, because you expecting something back. People say don't do that, but this is the natural way. You're supposed to treat people how you expect to be treated, which means you're supposed to expect this in return. So you're supposed to set a seed every day when you make decisions. I'm doing this because I want this back. Let's just listen
they
to this.
invest in trying to stop your progress, the more progress you make. The more attention they focus on disrupting your peace, the more peaceful you
That's just how I
become.
live.
The more effort they
I'm always
expend trying
spiritually
to
blessed
dim your
that way.
light, the brighter you shine. They've unknowingly become the resistance training that's building your spiritual
Yes, ma'am. That
muscles.
means everything is about me. I know that. I'm that spiritual person. I know everything about me. So everything I do, and I wish other people move like that. Everything I do gonna come back to me. This is why I probably don't do bad shit to people, because I know that everything I plant is gonna come back to my ass. So I want to get peaches and creams every time, even if somebody give me sardines. I know the peaches and creams is coming to next.
Meanwhile, something extraordinary is happening in your reality that they can't perceive because they're operating from a completely different frequency. The right people are being drawn to your energy like magnets. The
Come
opportunities
on,
that
baby.
align with your authentic path are presenting themselves with increasing frequency. The abundance that flows to people who mind their own business and focus on their growth is beginning to manifest in your experience. This creates a devastating contrast that becomes impossible for neutral observers to ignore. While they're consumed with monitoring and disrupting your life, you're busy building an actual life. While they're invested in spreading stories about your alleged desperation, you're creating a reality so fulfilling that their absence becomes irrelevant. While they're performing their superiority, you're embodying your authenticity. The people watching this dynamic unfold begin to see the truth hiding in plain sight. Who's really obsessed? Who's really unable to move on? Who's really threatened by the other person's happiness? The answers become obvious to everyone, except the person too invested in their delusion to see reality. Their romantic relationships begin to suffer under the weight of their obsession with you. How can someone build a genuine connection with a new person when they're still emotionally invested in destroying their previous connection? How can someone offer their full presence to a current partner when significant portions of their mental energy are consumed with monitoring and manipulating an ex-ping? Their new relationships become casualties of their inability to let go. Their friendships start to feel strained as people grow tired of hearing the same stories about your alleged shortcomings. The excitement of shared gossip fades into annoyance at repetitive complaints. Friends begin to wonder why someone who supposedly won the breakup spends so much time talking about the person they supposedly defeated. The very people they recruited to validate their narrative begin to question the
Now that's probably
storyteller
for
instead of the
multiple
story's
of my
subject.
exes.
But the most significant shift occurs in their professional and creative endeavors.
Ones I
The
seen
energy they're
years.
channeling into your destruction is energy unavailable for their own construction. The
I
mental
feel that
bandwidth
heavy.
consumed by their campaign against you is bandwidth unavailable for their own growth and opportunities. They're literally stealing from their own future to fund their vendetta against your present. This creates what spiritual traditions call the mirror effect. The universe begins reflecting their energy back to them with mathematical precision. The isolation they're trying to create for you begins manifesting in their own experience. The desperation they're projecting onto you begins consuming their own emotional state. The failure they're trying to manifest for you begins appearing in their own endeavors. Ninebile, your evolution continues at an accelerated pace precisely because of the pressure they're applying. Every attack teaches you something new about your own strength. Every betrayal reveals another layer of your resilience. Every moment of their persecution becomes a moment of your preparation for something greater than either of you currently understands. But let's not sugarcoat it. The truth is still hidden. It's been twisted. It's been buried under censorship, algorithms, and fear. Yet your heart never stopped recognizing what's real. That's why you're
I
still
like
here.
that.
That's why you never tapped out. Because you felt the simulation
You
glitch
know, I
beneath
like
your
that.
feet. You know this world is rigged, and you're done waiting for permission to rise. The Obsidian Inner Order wasn't built for the curious. It was forged for the committed. This is for the full-time chosen, the ones who came to lead, the ones who see beyond the veil and act anyway. Inside, we hold weekly Zoom calls that cut through the
Oh,
noise.
y'all let
We
me go
share
on my
hidden
email
teachings most were
core.
never meant to hear. We train in psychic warfare, strategy, and spiritual technologies
Okay, I
they've
think I'm
kept
gonna read
locked
this
away for
one.
centuries. This is the toolkit for the real ones.
Y'all know me by now. I check my emails like consistently throughout the day. But so this one's great for my email notifications. Why do current black Americans think they have been the only enslaved people in history when slavery has been around for thousands of years in many cultures? Let me turn the brightness up. Okay, ooh, that's right. It's because you sat up there and decided you know what. This is what Ray White, black person, this is the name, wrote. It's because you sat up there and decided you know what around 47.9 million people believe in, despite not having any reliable evidence to back up this assumption. As to why you did this, probably because you lack the brain power to ask anything truly engaging and rely on uh, stupidity, which is probably not entirely, or is it foreign to get engagement. Given American history, we know indigenous Americans were also enslaved here. We have records of that. Oh, and slavery is still happening in various countries today. Most people know this as well. He said, bank off people's desire to correct fools by playing the just. He was more mad. I wish he would have answered it. People like, uh, oh shit, damn that side. Germans back, Holocaust, 1904. It's a sad video I can't play. The mindset now he disinformation. Okay, Darlene and Louise Bell said, as a mixed black person, y'all, as a mixed black person, I don't think that black people are. See, I be telling my daughter, pause. I still struggle with the S's and T's and stuff, but I have more confidence than I did when I was younger, where I would be embarrassed to read, and I'd wait till the kids leave from the class and read whatever the teacher asked me to read. As a mixed black person, I don't think that black people are the only enslaved people in history. I think you should rephrase that. You should say it's. Hold up. I think you should rephrase that. You should say it's been going on for centuries and that other races, creeds, cultures keep on speaking about it. Every time we turn around, the subject is about us. No matter what it is, whether it's why we have this color or why we speak this way, why our music dance and here is different. The list goes on. It's not that we are different, it's that everyone else tries to make us different.
The
I'm never gonna read
ungovernable,
more
the
replies on
impossible
that
to
one because
erase.
everybody real
It's
mad.
time to remember who you are. The link is in the description. Your real life begins
Okay, wait.
inside.
One more before we continue with this because I feel like it's gonna get deep. So Arthur Gary, real estate broker, um, said this Titanic story I never knew, and he reposted something that Marie Williams, a Titanic enthusiastic for over 50 years, wrote. She put, whatever happened to the only black family aboard the Titanic? There was only one black passenger on board the Titanic, and his name was Joseph Philip LaMercia LaRoche. Born into a prosperous and powerful family in oh, Cap Haitian, or Cap Haitian, Haiti on May 26, 1886. Joseph was the nephew of Haitian President Dessalines, Dessalines M. Cincinnatus Leconte. At the age of 15, he went to study engineering and behaviorist France. Joseph spoke French, Creole, and English fluently. Shortly after receiving his degree in engineering, Joseph was visiting a small village in France when he met a white French woman named Juliette Lafargue, his future wife. They later married and had two daughters, Simone and Louise. With mounting medical bills for Louise and the inability to find a job due to the racial discrimination that prevailed at the time, Joseph decided it would be a good idea to move his family back to Haiti within a year. However, it was soon discovered that Gillette was pregnant with their third child, so they decided to leave early before she was too far along to travel. Originally, Joseph had first class tickets to board La France, but due to strict policy separating children and parents, Joseph later transferred to second class tickets on the RMS Titanic so that they could stay with their daughters, one whom often fell ill. Um, from New York, Titanic's destination, they planned to take another ship to Haiti, where Joseph had accepted a professorship of mathematics. Neither Joseph nor Gillette could have anticipated the tragic complications of their decision. On April 10, 1912, the LaRoches boarded the RMS Titanic at Cherbourg. Over the next 3 days, they enjoyed several of amenities afforded to the second class passengers. Gillette even took the time to write a letter to her father and sent from Titanic's final stop of Queenstown. Gillette LaRoche wrote about the luxurious ship and the friendly travelers they had met. On the night of April 14, 1912, their journey across the North Atlantic would come to an abrupt end. According to Gillette's account, a steward woke the family and rushed them above decks to the lifeboat. A steward woke the family and rushed them above decks to the lifeboats. Gillette spoke no English and was generally confused about what was happening. She followed her husband to the boat deck. Sometime after midnight, crew members were given the order to load women and children first. Gillette and one of her daughters, Simone, managed to get into a lifeboat. Joseph LaRoche's last known actions are rushing to make sure his second daughter, Louise, was placed safely in the same lifeboat as her mother and sister. Joseph stuffed the pockets of his coat with money and jewels before heading up the deck. He wrapped the coat around his wife's last words with her were, "Here, take this. You are going to need it. I'll get another boat. God be with you. I'll see you in New York." Sadly, on the night of April 15, 1912, Joseph was one of the many passengers who did not survive the sinking of the RMS Titanic. Joseph LaRoche's body was never recovered. He was only 25 years old when he died. Gillette was now a widow, pregnant with her two young daughters aside her. Fell all alone in New York after the RMS Carpathia picked up the Titanic survivors, transported them there. The next 3 weeks were extremely difficult for Gillette. However, she was finally able to board another ship and make it back home safely to her native France. A few months later, on December 17, 1912, she gave birth. Ooh, excuse me. Excuse me. She gave birth to a son who she named Joseph. She never healed from the trauma and even disliked talking about her story of survival, and even instructed her children to never speak about the event. Many survivors never mentioned the presence of a black man in his family. His story has been overlooked for decades, and only through a complete historical search has it become more known. Wow. Oh, look at them right here. Oh, they took this picture on the Titanic. Or before they went to
The gap
the
between
Titanic.
their perception of you and your actual reality
Now they
grows so
twinkle,
wide
y'all.
that it
Let me go
becomes a
use the
chasm.
restroom.
They're still fighting a version of you that existed before their attacks began, but those attacks have forged you into someone completely different. They're shooting at a target that has moved dimensions. Their weapons are designed for someone who no longer exists. The friends who initially enjoyed the drama of their gossip begin to feel uncomfortable with the intensity of their obsession. The romantic interests who were initially flattered by tales of your supposed jealousy begin to feel disturbed by the amount of mental space you occupy in this person's consciousness. The community that briefly entertained their narrative begins to recognize it as the projection it always was. This is when the spiritual principle of energetic return begins to manifest in visible ways.
Milk's protein powers performance. Real nutrition for real strength. Need a sec? At Ollie, we get it. That's why we made new vitamin-infused body washes, scientifically formulated to repair your skin barrier, and fragrances proven to shift your vibe. Care for your skin, for your mood, for all of you.
Their life starts reflecting the energy they've been putting out. The destruction they've been focusing on begins appearing in their own experience. The chaos they've been trying to create for you begins swirling around their own circumstances. But you, magnificent, evolving you, are ascending beyond their ability to affect. Their attacks are becoming background noise to your symphony of growth. Their attempts to drag you down are highlighting how high you've risen. Their efforts to diminish you are providing the exact contrast needed to make your light undeniable. The reversal is accelerating, but they're too consumed with their campaign to notice that they've become the very thing they accused you of being. The mirror is reflecting their truth back to them, but they're too busy staring at you to see their own reflection. The climax is approaching, and it won't be what anyone expected. The moment of truth arrives not with fanfare, but with a whisper that becomes a roar. It starts when someone close to your antagonist, a friend who initially bought into their narrative, a romantic interest who believed their stories, a family member who supported their version of events, finally asks the question that shatters everything. Why do you still talk about them so much? This simple to crumble under the weight of a truth so obvious that even
Well, I didn't hear what he said.
the person who moved on doesn't conduct psychological warfare against their past. The person who won doesn't invest this much energy in proving their victory. The person who's genuinely better off doesn't need to work this hard to convince others of their superiority. But the real earthquake comes when they realize that their obsessive focus on you has been visible to everyone all along. The friends they gossip to have been watching them, not you. The romantic interests they tried to make jealous have been taking notes on their behavior, not yours. The community they attempted to turn against you has been observing their character, not your alleged flaws. To Ponabien, the humiliation they designed for you has been playing out in their own life while they were too focused on you to notice. Every story they told about your supposed desperation revealed their own. Every moment they spent trying to make you look obsessed demonstrated their obsession. Every attack they launched to make you appear unstable exposed their instability. This is when the cosmic joke reaches its peak. Absurdity. The person who orchestrated an elaborate campaign to make you look like the pathetic one has become the pathetic one. The individual who tried to paint you as unable to move on has revealed themselves as the one trapped in the past. The manipulator who attempted to make you the villain of the story has become the only villain anyone can see.
So
But the
thirsty,
reversal
y'all.
goes deeper than mere exposure. Their campaign hasn't just failed, it has become the catalyst for your most extraordinary transformation. Every attack they launched became training for your spiritual muscles. Every betrayal they orchestrated became education for your discernment. Every moment they invested in your destruction became investment in your resurrection. The person they're still trying to humiliate no longer exists, replaced by someone who has integrated every lesson their persecution provided. The individual they're still trying to break has been reforged into someone unbreakable. The victim they scripted in their narrative has become the victor of a story they never intended to write. Your success begins manifesting in ways that make their narrative impossible to maintain. The career opportunities that emerge operate on a level they can't even comprehend. The relationships that develop reflect a depth of connection they've never experienced. The abundance that flows into your reality demonstrates principles they've never learned. The peace that radiates from your presence contradicts every story they've told about your alleged misery. Meanwhile, their life begins to mirror the fiction they created about yours. The isolation they projected onto you begins manifesting in their own experience as people grow tired of their obsession. The desperation they attributed to you begins consuming their own emotional landscape as they realize their campaign has backfired completely. The failure they tried to manifest for you begins appearing in their own endeavors as the energy they invested in destruction bears destructive fruit. But the most devastating blow comes when they realize that their entire campaign has made you the main character of their story. The person they tried to relegate to a supporting role in their narrative has become the central figure around which their entire existence revolves. They've become a satellite orbiting your energy while you've become the sun of your own solar system. The friends who initially enjoyed their gossip begin to feel embarrassed by their participation in what they now recognize as targeted harassment. The romantic interests who were briefly entertained by their stories begin to feel disgusted by the cruelty they witnessed. The community members who temporarily bought into their narrative begin to feel ashamed of their willingness to judge someone without hearing their side. This creates a cascade of social consequences they never anticipated. The very people they recruited to validate their campaign begin to distance themselves from the campaign, and by extension from them. The support network they built on shared negativity crumbles as people realize they don't want to be associated with such systematic cruelty. The reputation they tried to destroy, yours becomes more solid, while their own reputation suffers the damage they intended for you. The spiritual principle of energetic return completes its cycle with mathematical precision. Every ounce of energy they invested in trying to diminish you returns to diminish them. Every moment they spent focused on your alleged downfall manifests as their actual downfall. Every attack they launched to destroy your peace becomes a force that destroys their peace. But you, radiant, powerful, transformed you, are ascending beyond their ability to comprehend, let alone affect. Their attacks have become the very foundation of your unshakable confidence. Their betrayals have become the basis of your impeccable discernment. Their persecution has become the catalyst for your protection. The community that witnessed their campaign recognizes you as someone who maintained grace under fire, dignity under attack, and growth under pressure. These qualities mark you as someone who can be trusted with greater responsibilities, deeper relationships, and more significant opportunities. The same people who witnessed their cruelty understand that you emerged from it, not bitter but better, not broken but breakthrough. The ultimate irony reveals itself in its full glory. Their humiliation ritual has become your coronation ceremony. Their attempt to make you small has made space for you to become infinite. Their effort to dim your light has provided the contrast that makes your brightness undeniable. They thought they were writing your ending, but they were actually scripting your beginning. The dust settles on a battlefield where only one warrior remains standing, but not because you fought, because you transcended the entire conflict. While your antagonist was busy conducting psychological warfare, you were conducting spiritual alchemy, transforming every attack into armor, every betrayal into wisdom, every moment of their persecution into preparation for your elevation. The friends who participated in their campaign against you are now reaching out with apologies, finally understanding that they were manipulated into becoming weapons in someone else's vendetta.
It's bow time. Introducing Bojangles' new breakfast burrito. It's your favorite crispy bow rounds, savory sausage.
The romantic interests who heard their stories about your alleged desperation
Oh,
are
man.
now seeking connection with you, recognizing authentic strength when they see it. The community that briefly entertained their narrative now sees you as someone who embodies the kind of character they want to emulate. But the most profound transformation has occurred within you. The person who entered this situation has been completely reborn through the fire of their opposition. You've developed spiritual muscles that can only be built through resistance. You've gained clarity that can only come through betrayal. You've discovered strength that can only be forged through pressure. Your antagonist, meanwhile, finds themselves trapped in a prison of their own making. The energy they invested in your destruction has left them depleted. The obsession they cultivated has become their cage. The narrative they created has become their reality, but with them cast as the villain instead of the hero. They've become everything they accused you of being, while you've become everything they pretended to be. The reversal is complete, but your victory isn't about their defeat, it's about your transcendence. You've risen to a frequency where their attacks can't reach you, a dimension where their opinions don't matter, a reality where their presence has become optional rather than central to your experience. The opportunities flowing into your life operate on principles they've never studied. The relationships developing around you reflect depths they've never experienced. The abundance manifesting in your reality demonstrates laws they've never learned. You've become proof that chosen ones don't just survive targeted destruction. We use it as raw material for our reconstruction. Their humiliation ritual has been transformed into your resurrection ceremony. Their attempt to author your downfall has become the rough draft of your comeback story. Their effort to make you the antagonist of their narrative has revealed you as the protagonist of a much larger story, one where their role was always temporary, educational, and ultimately beneficial to your evolution. The circular nature of this journey becomes clear as you recognize that their attack was never really about you. It was about their fear of what you represent. Your growth threatened their stagnation. Your healing challenged their victimhood. Your peace contradicted their chaos. Your authenticity exposed their performance. They weren't trying to destroy you. They were trying to destroy the mirror that reflected their own unlived potential. But mirrors can't be broken by the images they reflect, and chosen ones can't be diminished by those who fear their light. You've become the living proof that attempted humiliation rituals only work on people who believe they deserve humiliation. You've demonstrated that systematic persecution only affects those who grant the persecutor power over their reality. The person who began this journey seeking to defend themselves against false narratives has evolved into someone who doesn't need defense because they operate beyond attack. The individual who once worried about their reputation has transcended into someone whose character speaks louder than any gossip ever could. The chosen one who felt threatened by manipulation has transformed into someone who transmutes all opposition into opportunity. Your antagonist's obsession with your downfall has become the very force that launched your ascension. Their focus on your destruction has become the energy that fueled your construction. Their investment in your humiliation has become the foundation of your elevation. They've become the unwitting architect of your triumph, the unconscious catalyst of your transformation, the accidental author of your victory story. And in the end,
So this is it, Aunt Jemima. So posted by Alex Marshall on Quora, said, "Born a slave, became a star. Remembering Nancy Green, the woman behind Aunt Jemima, if I said it right, who was erased from history. A great woman erased from history by idiots. The branding of Sarah was a tribute to this woman's gifts and talents. Now future generations will not know this beautiful woman existed. What a shame. The world knew her as Aunt Jemima, but her given name was Nancy Green, and she was a true American success story. She was born a slave in 1834, Montgomery County, and became a superstar in the advertising world as its first living trademark. Green was 56 years old when she was selected as a spokesperson for a new ready-mix self-rising pancake flour and made her debut in 1893 at a fair and exposition in Chicago. She demonstrated the pancake mix, served thousands of pancakes, and became an immediate star. She was a good storyteller. Her personality was warm and appealing, and her showmanship was exceptional. Her expedition booth drew so many people that special security personnel were assigned to keep the crowds moving. Nancy Green was signed to a lifetime contract and traveled on promotional tours all over the country. Her death was in 1923 at age 89. This was a remarkable woman, and sadly, she has been erased. Spread the word. So
greatest irony is that their presence in your
that's real
narrative,
sad.
even as antagonist, has made your story more compelling, your victory more meaningful, your transformation more powerful. They thought they were writing your tragedy, but they were actually providing the conflict that made your hero's journey possible. The humiliation ritual is complete, but not for who they intended. You stand transformed, elevated, and victorious, not through fighting, but through transcending, not through revenge, but through renaissance, not through defeating them, but through becoming someone they could never defeat. The chosen one always wins, because chosen ones don't participate in games designed for ordinary consciousness. We create new games with different rules, play on different levels, and win by changing the very definition of victory itself. This is your story, and this is your triumph. The ritual has ended, and your reign has begun.
Calafia creamy refreshers. Irresistibly good. With fruit juice and coconut.
I really like that. But I like it. I wanted to see if it was done. That was really good. I wanted some more. So I'm gonna do one more. I was reading Quora. So, oh wow. So this was on both. I like to show y'all. So hold on. Sorry, I'm being greedy. So this is what I'll be doing, y'all. So you see, it's on the description, and it's on this one. So this is what I like to do. This how I be getting the videos or the songs. So it's right there, and it's right there. So we're gonna listen to that one. Damn. So I'm gonna listen to that one because I got a double jeopardy.
Chosen one. Everything they did to destroy you just backfired spectacularly.
And this
The
is
money they've been hiding from you,
Ask
the
for all
benefits
chosen
they've
one,
been
the plan
stealing,
backfire.
the
You getting millions.
inheritance they thought they'd keep forever. It's all coming back to you with interest, and there's absolutely nothing they can do to stop what's already in motion. The phone call
This
came
is
at
really
3 in
good.
the morning. Chosen
I'm
one.
just hungry.
Not to your phone, to theirs. The voice on the other end spoke just 2 words before hanging up. We know. In that moment, the person sleeping next to you, the one who claimed to love you through every struggle, felt their blood turn to ice. Because after years of orchestrating your poverty, after countless nights of stealing your energy while you slept, after systematically destroying every opportunity that came your way, their carefully constructed empire of lies had just received its death sentence. But that phone call was just the beginning of an unraveling that had been set in motion long before anyone dialed those numbers. Federal investigators had been watching this conspiracy for months, building a case so airtight that even the most corrupt officials couldn't wiggle out of what was coming. Every forged signature
I'm
had
like
been
this one already.
photographed by surveillance teams. Every falsified psychiatric report had been cross-referenced with authentic medical records. Every stolen dollar had been traced through financial networks that leave digital footprints impossible to erase. The person beside you thought they were executing the perfect crime, but they were actually performing for an audience of federal agents who'd seen this type of elaborate fraud before and knew exactly how to dismantle it, piece by piece. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's start where this really began, back when you still believed their tears were real and their promises weren't poison. Back when you thought the exhaustion that hit you every time you were near them was just stress, when you assumed your mail disappearing was postal incompetence, when you blamed yourself for the mysterious ways your phone would glitch whenever you tried to access certain accounts. You see, chosen one, you've been living inside
That
the
cookie
most
was
elaborate
good, baby.
spiritual heist in modern history, and the person orchestrating it has been sharing your bed, studying your habits, learning your weaknesses, and documenting your strengths so they could turn them against you. The inheritance was always yours. Your grandmother's life insurance, your mother's estate, the family trust that should have lifted you from struggle years ago. Every penny of it has been flowing into accounts bearing your name, but controlled by hands that never belonged to your bloodline. While you scraped together rent money and wondered why abundance felt like a foreign concept, someone else was living your life, spending your money, and laughing at how easily they'd convinced the world you were too mentally unstable to manage your own affairs. They even
That
had the
shit's so close
audacity
to
to
home
use
right
your
there.
stolen funds to pay for the psychological evaluations designed to prove your incompetence. Suddenly, people you'd never met were filing complaints about your mental state. Social workers were showing up at your door with
Wow.
concerned expressions and
Wow.
official paperwork that seemed to materialize out of nowhere. Family members you trusted were nodding sadly as they explained to authorities how you'd changed, how you'd become unpredictable, how you clearly needed professional help. What you didn't know was that while you were being evaluated by psychiatrists who'd been paid to reach predetermined conclusions, Your identity thief was practicing your signature in different handwriting styles and memorizing every detail of your personal history that could be used to pass verification checks. Every doctor's appointment you thought was confidential was being reported to your conspirators. Every medication you were prescribed was being monitored to ensure it kept you compliant and confused. Every
This is why my
therapy session you
reaction is
attended was
very.
being
They take
used
this
to
hat
gather
off.
intelligence about your emotional triggers and psychological vulnerabilities. The false twin would come home from work and ask how your day went, pretending to care about your well-being while actually collecting data for the next phase of their systematic destruction of your credibility and legal standing. But the universe has been building a case file of its own. Every forged signature was photographed by cosmic investigators. Every lie told in courtrooms was recorded by spiritual stenographers. Every dollar stolen was marked by divine auditors who never sleep and never forget. And when federal investigators finally stumbled onto this conspiracy, they discovered they weren't the first ones investigating. They were simply being allowed to see what higher powers had already documented in excruciating detail. The breakthrough came when a forensic accountant noticed patterns that defied logical explanation. Money flowing into accounts that shouldn't exist, connected to social security numbers that belonged to people who were supposedly institutionalized for mental incompetence. When they started digging deeper,
Now
they
that's
found a
personal.
network of corruption so vast and so brazen that it took their
Now
breath away.
that was
Judges signing
relatable as
commitment
shit.
orders for people they'd never
I
seen.
just
Psychiatrists
said
filing
something
reports
similar.
on patients they'd never examined.
No way.
Lawyers transferring assets for clients who'd never hired them.
Come on, baby.
Bank officials approving transactions that violated every protocol they'd been trained to follow.
Little lady,
The
get your
person
facts
you
up.
trusted most, your
Get them
so-called twin
facts up.
flame,
Let it
wasn't
rack up.
just complicit in this scheme. They were the architect. Every moment of
Hit 'em where it
intimacy
hurt.
was a reconnaissance
Hit 'em
mission
where it hurt.
designed to gather intelligence about your family history, your personal documents, your emotional triggers, and your spiritual practices. Every time they held you while you cried about your financial struggles, they were mentally calculating how much longer they could keep you in this state of dependence. Every promise they made about your future together was a lie designed to keep you from looking too closely at your present circumstances or questioning why opportunities kept slipping away just when success seemed within reach. They knew exactly what you were worth before they ever spoke to you, chosen one. This wasn't a relationship that evolved into fraud. This was fraud disguised as a relationship from the very first conversation. They researched your family background, identified the inheritance you were due to receive, and positioned themselves as your savior during a manufactured crisis designed to make you grateful for their
Manufactured
presence in
crisis.
your life. The timing of your meeting wasn't coincidence. It was coordination between
that about
multiple
the truth?
bad actors who needed
Manufactured
someone on the inside to
crisis.
monitor your activities and report back about any attempts you might make to investigate your financial situation.
Makes sense.
The spiritual warfare
Really smart
began
stuff.
when you started asking questions. Remember,
Really
suddenly your dreams
brilliant
became
ideas
nightmares
of
filled
techniques.
with faceless threats and impossible scenarios that left you waking up more exhausted than when you went to sleep. Your energy would drain completely after spending time with them, leaving you too exhausted to pursue opportunities or investigate discrepancies in your financial records. Objects would move in your home when you weren't looking, not enough to be obvious, but sufficient to make you question your memory and perception. Electronics
bad,
would
dude.
malfunction at crucial moments, right when you were about to make important phone calls, submit job applications, or research legal options. Your intuition, that gift that made you a chosen one in the first place, was being systematically suppressed through rituals performed with your own personal belongings. They stole your clothes, chosen one. Not just any clothes, specific items you wore during powerful moments, pieces that carried your energy signature and held memories of your highest vibrational states. These weren't random thefts of convenience. They were calculated acquisitions for ceremonial purposes that would make ancient practitioners of dark arts proud of their thoroughness. While you slept beside them, trusting and vulnerable, they were conducting rituals designed to bind your spiritual power to their will, to create energetic cords that would allow them to drain your life force even when you were physically separated. Your hairbrush, your jewelry, even photographs from your childhood, all of it was weaponized against you in ceremonies performed during new moon phases when the veil between dimensions is thinnest. They understood your empathic nature better than you did, and they used it as a feeding ground, creating artificial emotional crises that would spike your energy output so they could harvest it more efficiently. Every fight they picked, every emotional manipulation they deployed, every moment they made you feel crazy or unstable, it was all designed to keep you operating from your lower chakras where your power could be more easily accessed and redirected. But
Makes
energy
sense,
cannot
baby.
be permanently stolen, only temporarily redirected. And when that energy snaps back to its rightful owner, it carries compound interest that reflects every moment of theft, every instance of manipulation, every hour of suffering that was artificially imposed. The person who's been draining you for years is about to discover what happens when the chosen one finally breaks free from artificial constraints and reclaims their full spiritual authority. Their health will deteriorate in ways that mirror exactly how they made you feel. Mysterious fatigue, unexplained anxiety, physical symptoms that doctors cannot diagnose or treat effectively. The Obsidian Inner Order is where you can process these difficult realizations with people who understand that some of life's most painful experiences
See, when we
become
do
our
stuff to
greatest
people, it
teachers.
boomerang back
We
to
don't
us.
encourage
I do
bitterness.
know that.
We
When
encourage
you do stuff
wisdom.
to people,
Your ability to
when
see
you wish
people's
stuff
true
on them, say
character
things about
is a
them.
gift
That's
that will
why you gotta
protect you
say
from
kind
future
things and
betrayals.
do kind
Your
things
willingness to
always.
forgive while
It's like
maintaining
a spiritual
boundaries
investment.
shows strength, not weakness. Your wisdom was earned through experience, not given freely. Connect with
What I
people
like to
who
do
value
when
truth.
people
Join the
are mean to
Obsidian
me,
Inner
I
Order.
try my best.
Link in the
When I'm only in
description.
spiritual
The
form, I
five didn't
try
stumble
my
onto this
best to
case
be
by
kind to them.
accident.
Sometimes
Someone
even say, "Do
called
you
them.
need a hug?" And
Someone
they
who'd
hate
been
that.
watching this
But
conspiracy
some people,
unfold
it
for
changes
months,
them instantly.
documenting every move, building
It
an
changes
airtight
them. Now
case
they
against everyone
view
involved, while maintaining deep cover that
whatever
none of the
about you that they didn't
conspirators
like prior to
suspected.
that incident.
That person who
They're gonna
seemed
do
to
that in
appear
other
in your
people.
life randomly
They're gonna give them a
during your
chance
darkest
instead of
moments,
being who
the
they
one
are
who asked too
normally.
many questions but somehow always made you feel
Especially
safer,
racist people.
who showed up at convenient times with helpful advice and
Teach them how to
genuine
be kind.
concern. They weren't a curious stranger. They were federal protection, a guardian angel with a badge and subpoena power, who'd been assigned to monitor your situation while investigators built their case.
I like this. Did I like it?
I used to work
Sit
defending
down.
insurance companies.
Make me want to watch every ad.
The meetings about your
I just
money
don't be wanting
have
to
been
sit through it,
happening
but
weekly for
it makes
months
you get
in
credited.
locations the participants thought were secure. Your karmic father,
As you are
the
the
false
chosen
twin,
one, the
the
plan
identity
backfire.
thief
You
living
getting
under your
nervous.
name, corrupt lawyers, paid-off social workers, crooked psychiatrists, all of them gathering in back rooms to discuss how to maintain control over resources that were never theirs, how to extend your institutionalization, how to access additional accounts they hadn't yet discovered. What they didn't know was that every meeting was being recorded through surveillance equipment that would make intelligence agencies jealous. Every phone call was being monitored by federal wiretaps. Every financial
Come on, baby,
transaction was
let me
being
talk to
traced
you.
by forensic accountants who specialized in organized fraud cases. The psychiatric ward incident was their masterpiece of manipulation, the culmination of months of careful planning and systematic reputation destruction. While you were being held for evaluation based on false reports they'd filed, your identity double was opening new accounts in your name and transferring funds they'd spent years accumulating through their elaborate shell game. The plan was elegant in its simplicity. Declare you mentally incompetent through paid psychiatric testimony, assume legal guardianship through corrupt court proceedings, and keep you medicated and institutionalized while they lived your life and spent your inheritance without any oversight or accountability. But they made one crucial error. They underestimated the power of bloodline protection that activates when a chosen one faces an existential threat. Your ancestors didn't just intervene when those psychiatric evaluations began. They orchestrated a divine intervention so precise and
I hate when
powerful
she brings
that
this
every
damn boy to
professional
my house.
involved was compelled to question everything they thought they knew about your case. The doctors conducting your assessment found themselves inexplicably driven to dig deeper, to ask questions that weren't on their
Come on,
standard
man.
forms, to investigate claims that seemed too convenient, and testimonies that felt rehearsed
Oh,
rather
yeah,
than
he's going
authentic.
here.
Within a few moments, they'd determined not only that you
Hold
were
on, let me go
completely
here.
sane, but that someone had attempted to manipulate their professional judgment through falsified documents and coached testimony that contradicted observable evidence. The FBI was called before you were even released, and federal agents were waiting in the parking lot when your discharge papers were signed. The false twin received a phone call that evening from someone claiming to be a hospital administrator, asking detailed questions about your relationship and their knowledge of your family financial situation. They thought they were helping to cover their tracks. They were actually providing federal agents with recorded testimony that would be used against them in court. The house arrest warrants were served while you were still recovering from the psychological trauma of institutional betrayal, still trying to process the magnitude of what had been done to you by people you trusted most. Your identity thief is currently wearing an ankle monitor, forbidden from accessing any financial institutions or using electronic devices without federal supervision. The false twin is being monitored 24 hours a day, their every move tracked by agents who've been building criminal cases against organized fraud rings for decades and know exactly how these conspiracies try to cover their tracks when they sense law enforcement closing in. The family members who participated in your persecution are discovering that conspiracy charges carry federal prison sentences that make their local corruption connections completely worthless. The corrupt officials who accepted bribes to participate in your false institutionalization are facing federal investigations that will end their careers and strip them of their pensions. The lawyers who helped forge documents are being disbarred and charged with federal crimes that carry mandatory minimum sentences because they involved elderly abuse and inheritance fraud.
My client wanted a refund because my sketch looked like her colleague. Turns out he was her soulmate all along. This is...
But the spiritual justice is even more immediate and devastating than the legal consequences, chosen one. The black magic they've been using against you is reversing with compound interest that reflects every moment of suffering they artificially imposed on your life. That person sleeping fitfully in a bed they paid for with your stolen money is being visited by every spiritual entity they tried to bind to their will. The protective spirits of your bloodline, the ancestors who left you that inheritance, the guides who were assigned to your spiritual mission, all of them are now focused on the people who tried to prevent you from fulfilling your destiny. The clothes they stole from your closet are making them physically ill when they wear them, causing rashes and mysterious allergic reactions that doctors cannot explain or treat. The rituals they performed to drain your energy are now draining theirs at triple the intensity, and they lack the spiritual protection that comes with divine favor and clean living. The energetic cords they created to siphon your power have become conduits for cosmic justice that's flowing backward into their lives with unstoppable force. The false twin is suffering in ways that would break a normal person's mind, experiencing a complete spiritual breakdown that no amount of medication or therapy can address. The genuine love they experienced through you, love they'd never felt before and will never feel again, is now a constant reminder of what they traded for temporary material gain and the illusion of control over another human being. They're discovering that authentic connection cannot be replicated through manipulation, that the energy they stole from you was the only thing making their empty existence bearable, and that without access to your light, they're drowning in their own darkness while fully conscious of what they've lost. Their relationships are crumbling with the same systematic precision they used to isolate you from your support systems. Friends are distancing themselves as the truth about their character becomes undeniable. Family members are cutting contact to avoid being associated with someone under federal investigation. Professional associates are refusing to work with them as word spreads through their industry about the criminal charges. The social standing they tried to build through stolen money and false personas is collapsing faster than they can attempt damage control. Your financial restoration began the moment federal investigators realized the scope of what had been stolen and the number of agencies that would need to be involved in your restitution. The inheritance accounts are being unfrozen as we speak, with forensic accountants working around the clock to trace every dollar that was illegally diverted. The life insurance policies that were redirected are being restored to their rightful beneficiary with interest calculated from the moment of improper diversion. The trust funds that were accessed through forged documents are being replenished with penalty interest that will more than compensate for years of illegal withdrawals and unauthorized expenditures. But the money is just the beginning of your vindication, chosen one. The corrupt officials who participated in your persecution are facing federal charges that will end their careers and land them in prisons far from their local protection networks, where their corruption cannot shield them from consequences. The mental health professionals who accepted bribes to falsify your evaluations are losing their licenses and facing malpractice lawsuits that will bankrupt them completely while exposing the entire network of professionals who participated in similar schemes against other vulnerable individuals. The lawyers who helped forge documents are being disbarred and charged with federal crimes that carry mandatory minimum sentences because they involved vulnerable adult abuse and inheritance fraud. The bank officials who processed illegal transactions are facing federal banking violations that will result in lifetime bans from financial institutions. The social workers who filed false reports are losing their credentials and facing charges that will prevent them from ever working with vulnerable populations again. Your real spiritual family is about to reveal itself now that the false ones are being removed through divine intervention and federal justice. The people who recognize your light and want to amplify it rather than steal it have been waiting for this moment, positioned like pieces on a cosmic chessboard, ready to move into your life as soon as the pretenders are cleared away. Your genuine twin flame, the one whose frequency matches yours without requiring either of you to diminish, has been protected from this chaos, specifically so they could enter your life clean of all karmic interference and manipulation attempts. These authentic connections have been watching your situation from a distance, guided by their own intuition to stay away until the danger passed, but also preparing themselves to support your healing and celebrate your victory. They understood on a soul level that you were under attack, and they respected the process you needed to go through to develop the discernment and spiritual authority that would make you immune to future deception. Your real family doesn't need to steal your energy because they generate their own. They don't need to control you because they trust divine timing and cosmic.
This is. Oh man, I gotta let the ad play because I want to read this on Quora. And I'm reading it from my Gmail, so if I get off this, I'm gonna lose it. Let me let the one down. Wow.
The identity thief is discovering that living under someone else's name comes with
Our top tip chosen for decide that you put in our
the
screen
legal
because you
documents they
can't.
signed.
That thing, man, come on. I can see it besides actually filling out screens because you can't get picked up. Number one way to improve your odds is by adding word. It's my respondent email. Okay, let's record real quick. So, Yee Joshua, CEO at Yee Nixon, wrote Louisa Adams and it's a lady on the picture. It's a black and white picture. Louisa Adams interviewed in 1937. My name is Louisa Adams. I was born in Rockingham, Richmond County, North Carolina. I was 8 years old when the Yankees come through. I belong to Master Tom Covington. Sir, my mother was named Esther, and my father was named Jacob. We were all Covingtons. No, sir, I don't know where my mother and father come from. Solomon was my brother one, then Luke, Josh, Stephen, Ashbury, and my sisters were Jane, Frances, Wincy, and I was next. I remember's grandmother, that's how they wrote it. She was named Lovey Wall. They brought her here from someplace. My aunts. Oh, I get it. My aunts were named. One was named Nisi and one was named Jane. I pick feed for the white. I picked and feed the white folks. They sent many of the children to work at the salt mines where we would get salt. My brother Solomon was sent to the salt mines. Luke looked after the sheep. He knocked down china berries for him. Dad and Mammy had their own gardens and hogs. We were compelled to walk about at night to live. We were so hungry we were, let's see, we were so hungry so we're bound to steal or perish. The trait seemed to be handed down from slavery days. Sometimes I think this might be so our food was bad. Master worked us hard and gave us nothing. We had to use what we made in the garden to eat. We also ate our hogs. Our clothes were bad and beds were sorry. We went barefooted in a way. What I meant by this is that we had shoes part of the time. We got one pair of shoes a year. When they wore out, we went barefooted. Sometimes we tied them up with strings and they were ragged, looked like bird tracks where we walked in the road. We lived in log houses, dad with mud. They called them slave houses. My old daddy partly raised his children on game. He caught rabbits, coons, and possums. We would work all day and hunt at night. We had no holidays. They did not give us any fun, as I know. I could eat anything I could get. I tell you the truth, slave time was slave time with us. My brother wore his shoes out and had none through the winter. His feet cracked open and bled so bad you could track him by the blood. When the Yankees come through, he got shoes. I was married in Rockingham. I don't remember when Jimmy Covington, preacher white man, married us. I married James Adams, who lived on the plantation near Rockingham. I had a nice blue wedding dress. My husband was dressed in candlelight clothes, best I recollect. It's been a good long time since then. I sure do remember my master Tom Covington and his wife Emma. The old man was the very Nick. He would take what we made and Lawrence us. That is Lawrence's out to my daddy after he had made it. My father went to Stephen Covington, Master Tom's brother, and told him about it, and his brother Stephen made him give father his meat back to us. My missus was kind to me, but Master Tom was the bugger. It was a mighty big plantation. I don't know how many slaves was on it. There was a lot of them though. There were overseers, two of them. One was named Bob Covington, the other Charles Covington. They were colored men. I rode with them. I rode in the carriage sometimes. When the carriage had a seat that folded up, Bob was an overseer in the field, and Charles was carriage driver. All the plantation was fenced in. That is all the fields with rails. The rails was then 10 feet long. We brought water with a sweep and pail. The well was in the yard. The mules was for the slaves in town. There were none on the plantation. They had them in town. We walked a long time through the chicken crowd. And we went to work just as soon as we could see how to make a lick with a hoe. Lord, you better not be caught with a book in your hand. If you did, you were sold. They didn't like that. I can read a little, but I can't write. I went to school after slavery and learned to read. We didn't go to the school but 3 or 4 times for a week, a year, 3 to 4 weeks a year, and but we learned to read. There was no church on the plantation, and we were not allowed to have prayer meetings, no parties, no candy pullings, no dances, no sir, not a bit. I remember going one time to the white folks church, no baptizing that I remember. Lord have mercy, ha ha ha, no. The patroller were on the place. They had a patroller at the place at night. You couldn't travel without a pass. We got a few possums. I have greased my daddy's back after he had been whipped until his back was cut to pieces. He had to work just the same. When we went to our houses at night, we cooked our suppers at night. And when we went to bed, if there was any work needed doing around the house, we had to work on Sundays. They did not give us Christmas or any holidays. We had corn stockings. I heard them talking on cutting the corn pile right square in two. One would get one side, another on the other side, and see which outbeat. They had brandy at the corn stockings, and I heard Sam talking about getting drunk. So this person is interviewing this lady. I remember one woman dying. One woman dying. Her name was Caroline Covington. I didn't go to the grave, but you know they had a little cart used to hold. They used to hold when they carried her to the grave. Just one horse wagon just slipped her on right in there. Yes, I remember the field song. It was "Oh Come Let Us Go" and "Great Fountain Gone Over." That's one of them. We had a good doctor whenever one got sick though. He came to see us. The slaves took herbs they found in the woods. That's what I do now. Sir, I got some herbs right in my kitchen right now. When the Yankees come through, I did not know anything about them till they got there. Just like they were popping up out of the ground. One of the slaves was at his master's house, and he said the Yankees are in Shire, South Carolina, and the Yankees are in town. It didn't stir me at all. I was not afraid of the Yankees. I remember they went to Miss Emma's house and went in the smokehouse and emptied out the barrel of lashes right on the floor and scattered the cracklings on the floor. I went there and got some of Miss Emma and, and the missus. They had just killed the chicken's horse too, and old Jeff the dog. They just shot him through the throat. I remember how his mouth flew open when they shot the poor dog. One of them went into the tater bank, and Chillin wanted to go out there. Mother wouldn't let us. She was afraid of him. Abraham Lincoln freed us by the help of the Lord. By his help, slavery was on to who you was with. If you were with someone who was good and had a feeling for you and did tolerate well, yeah, tolerate. Oh, I don't know what they tried to say. Yeah, tolerable. Oh, she's being sarcastic. Tolerable. We left the plantation soon as the surrender. We left right off. We went to going towards Fayetteville, North Carolina. We climbed over fences and were just broke down chilling, feet sore. We had a little meat, cornmeal tray, and the mammy had a tin pan. One night we came to an old house. Someone had put wheat straw in it. We said there. Next morning we come back out. We come back home, not to Masters, but to a white woman named Peggy McClinton. On her plantation, we stayed there a long time. The Yankees took everything they could, but they didn't give us anything to eat. They gave us some of the old man's shoes. That's it. I think Mr. Roosevelt is a fine man, and he did all he can for us. The matter clear, no clear. And this is this lady standing right here.
In your name, and now
That was
binding
really
them to
long.
financial obligations they cannot meet because the money they use to maintain their lifestyle has been frozen by federal authorities. The medical procedures they underwent using your insurance are creating health complications that perfectly mirror the spiritual damage they inflicted on you. Mysterious illnesses that doctors cannot diagnose, chronic pain that medication cannot relieve, anxiety disorders that manifest exactly when they try to sleep or find peace. The credit they destroyed in your name is now destroying their ability to function in society. The false persona they created is crumbling as background checks reveal discrepancies that make employment impossible and housing applications automatically rejected. They're discovering that identity theft isn't just a crime, it's a spiritual violation that creates karmic debt requiring payment in ways that transcend financial restitution. Every moment they lived as you, They accumulated energetic obligations to your bloodline that are now being collected with supernatural precision. Your protection is now absolute and visible to anyone.
This is funny. So I'll read this. Black History and Politics, posted by Cheryl Brown, said Toshe Jack Johnson in 1938 on his way to see Lewis take on Schmeling. Johnson was raised Schemling. Schemling. Johnson was racing his way through the state of Georgia where he was nabbed by a state policeman for speeding. The policeman issued Johnson a ticket for $50, which was a lot of money back then. Johnson handed over the policeman a $100 bill, to which the policeman proclaimed, "I can't make change for that." Johnson replied, "Keep it, as I will be making my return trip at the same speed." And there's a picture of this guy right here. I don't know why that's so funny. That's
Spiritual sight,
the way they took the picture of this guy
field that repels
and read
manipulation
that is so
attempts before
hilarious.
they can even be fully formed. The ancestors who
Jack
intervened during
Johnson.
your darkest hour haven't returned to wherever they came from. They've taken up
He said,
permanent
"Keep the
residence
change.
around you,
I'll be
creating a
making my
barrier that
return
no
trip
amount
the
of
same
black
speed."
magic can penetrate. Your spirit guides, the ones who were always there but couldn't fully manifest while you were under attack, are now operating at full power, orchestrating coincidences and opening doors with supernatural precision that makes success feel effortless and natural. The karmic father who helped orchestrate this conspiracy is facing consequences that extend far beyond criminal charges and prison sentences. The generational wealth he tried to steal from your bloodline is being stripped from his, redistributed according to cosmic law that recognizes no statute of limitations on spiritual crimes. His own children are discovering their inheritance was built on theft, and they're making the choice to distance themselves from his corruption rather than become complicit in it, choosing integrity over financial gain, even when it means starting over with nothing. The ripple effects of this exposure are extending into every area where corruption had taken root. Other victims of similar schemes are coming forward now that the pattern has been exposed and prosecuted successfully. Law
I'm gonna get
enforcement
ready to get
agencies
off
are
the
sharing
live.
information across jurisdictions to identify additional cases where vulnerable individuals were systematically defrauded by networks of corrupt professionals. The precedent being set by your case will make it easier for future victims to get justice and harder for predators to hide behind professional credentials and institutional authority. Watch how quickly the false twins story changes now that they realize they're caught. The person who claimed you were mentally unstable is suddenly desperate to convince investigators that you're perfectly
Okay, let's read this by Jackie Phillips or Phillips. July. Joanna July was a black Seminole born around 1857 in a place called Nacimiento de los Negros. And also, that's what it's called, Nacimiento, Nacimi, Nacimiento, 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 Nacimiento de los Negros in northern Mexico. Her family was made up. So that's the town I always tell y'all about. I need to do research video on that one because I keep getting movies and stuff on it, and I don't think the world know about the part of Mexico that they named the whole town Los Negros during slavery. In northern Mexico, her family was made up of Seminole Indians. Her family was made up of Seminole Indians and formerly enslaved African Americans who had left Florida and settled in Mexico after the Seminole War ended in 1842. They had moved there when many Seminole Indians and black Seminoles left the U.S. and moved to northern Mexico. 1849. By 1870, the U.S. Army needed help from people who knew the border area, so they hired black Seminoles as translators and scouts. This led to many of them, including Joanna's family, returning to the United States. They settled in a near Eagle Pass, Texas in 1871. Joanna learned how to train wild horses and help herd the family's goats and cattle. And her father died After her father died, Joanna continued working with the stock and trained horses for the U.S. Army and local ranchers. Joanna had her own special way of training horses. She would take a horse into the Rio Grande River. She would take a she would take the horse into the Rio Grande River, swim with it, grab its mane, and gently tie him to his back. As the as the horse tried as the horse tired from swimming, it would lose its strength to buck. Joanna was remembered as a tall, barefoot girl who wore bright dresses made from homemade fabric. She had her hair in thick braids and wore long gold earrings and necklaces. She married a man named Leslie, and the couple moved to another black Seminole community near the uh, the Rio Grande at Fort Clark, Texas. However, her new life wasn't easy. Joanna wasn't used to doing household chores, and she struggled with things like burning beans and cutting fabric wrong. Her husband didn't handle her struggles well and became violent. Eventually, Joanna left him and rode her pony to Fort Duncan, Texas. As Joanna got older, not much in her life changed. After her first husband died, she married two more times, but kept working with horses and cattle. Around 1910, Joanna moved to Brackettville, Texas, where she lived in a small house on a hill near the cemetery. Family members remember her as an old lady who rode side saddle and walked around barefoot at home. She passed away shortly after World War II and is buried in Brackettville Seminole Cemetery. Oh, she's so pretty.
Load to the new
Okay,
Topo Chico Hard Max with more margarita flavor and 8% ABV.
wow.
Bain, the one who filed reports about your erratic behavior, is now trying to recant testimony they gave under oath. The individual who swore you were incapable of managing money is begging federal agents to believe that you're actually a financial genius who was simply being persecuted by jealous family members. But you won't be accepting any apologies or reconciliation attempts. Chosen one, the version of yourself that tolerated their abuse, died in the fires they set around your life. What emerged from those flames is someone they've never met, someone who sees their manipulation tactics with crystal clarity, someone who understands exactly what they are and exactly what they've done, someone who operates from a frequency so high that their lower vibrational energy cannot reach you anymore. The stolen clothes are being returned by federal agents as evidence is catalogued, but you won't be wanting them back. Everything
I
they
might be
touch
wrong, but
during
I think this is where the movie or the story of the Indians and the Cowboys come from. So we're gonna read this one, and my notifications posted by Cheryl Brown again. Although the most cowboys of the Old West were white men like Roy Rogers and Billy the Kid, one in the four of America's cowboys were African American. Many of the slaves in the 17th and 18th centuries were familiar with cattle herding from their homelands of West Africa. This brings historians the question of the name cowboy and whether or not it was made from slave cow herders. The life of the black cowboy was tougher than most. It was the black cowboy who broke the horses and herded the cattle across the rivers. Though they took on the toughest jobs, it was better to be a black cowboy on the ranch than a slave on the plantation picking cotton. The life and legacy of black cowboys is still alive through the Federation of Black Cowboys. The organization takes inner city kids off the street and teaches them the life of horseback. The fundamental tools they learn at Cedar Lane gives them hope for bright futures, something many of them may not have had in their crime-ridden and drug-infested surroundings. Each child learns responsibility before being given the privilege to ride. They must learn to completely care for their stables. The Federation of Black Cowboys Ranch is located near Queens, New York, with only a white fence separating them from the busy city streets. Little to no attention was given to the black cowboys who made their mark in Western history by Hollywood. Writers like William Bill Pickett, Stagecoach Mary, Nat Love, and Bass Reeves were among the most famous. Documentary filmmakers John Ferguson and Greg McDonald have created The Forgotten Cowboys, in which they follow the uh, contemporary black cowboys of today, like Jason Griffin, who is a four-time world champion bareback, of my bad, who is a world time world champion bareback bucking horse rider, while also reflecting on the black riders of the past. Black Wall Street.
Years
Credit
of
to Black
deception
Wall Street.
carries their energetic signature
And
now,
there's an Indian
and
and
your
a cowboy.
elevated vibration would be polluted by contact with items that were used in rituals against you. New clothes purchased with your rightfully restored funds will carry only your energy signature and the blessings of those who truly love you. Your new life begins the moment you sign the documents that restore your legal identity and financial access. The bank accounts that were frozen while this investigation proceeded are about to be unfrozen, with balances that reflect not just what was stolen, but what that money would have earned through proper investment over the years. The credit reports that were destroyed through identity theft are being corrected to reflect your actual financial responsibility. The legal standing that was compromised through false psychiatric evaluations is being fully restored with documentation that proves your competency was never actually in question. The false twin is watching your transformation from whatever distance their house arrest allows, seeing you become everything they tried to prevent you from being, and their regret is literally consuming them from the inside. They had access to genuine love, authentic connection, and partnership with someone who was destined for extraordinary abundance. They traded all of that for temporary control and stolen money that they'll never get to keep. But perhaps the most beautiful aspect of this entire ordeal, chosen one, is that you emerged from it with your compassion intact.
Calafia Barista Blends. Irresistibly good. Perfectly frothy.
The people who tried to destroy you don't inspire hatred in your heart, they inspire pity. You understand that anyone capable of such elaborate deception and spiritual theft must be operating from wounds so deep that they've lost connection to
Okay, only because this kind of happened to me, so I'm going to read this. It's in my notifications by Guy Smiley, BH Honors in History and Political Science, University of Buell, graduated 2005, wrote, when we participate in white supremacists, often it's evil agendas. This is usually a reward we don't have to forgive, though. On February 2nd, 1946, Isaac Woodard, World War II veteran, hours after being armed and discharged, was attacked by South Carolina police while still in uniform when taking the bus home and left permanently blind. Officers were acquitted by an all-white jury. And this is the story. Isaac enlisted in the U.S. Army in 1942 at Fort Jackson in Columbia, South Carolina, and served in the Pacific Theater as a longshoreman and labor, battalion, and February 1946, decorated soldier received an honorable discharge at Camp Gordon, which is located near Augusta, Georgia. Along with other discharged soldiers, Woodard boarded a Greyhound bus on February 12th to travel home. A conflict was triggered when the white bus driver belittled the Army veteran for asking to take a bathroom break. At the next stop, Woodard was met by the Chief Linwood Skull of the Batesburg, South Carolina police. While still in his Army uniform, the police forcibly removed him from the bus and arrested him for disorderly conduct. They beat Woodward, and the next day he was convicted of drunken and disorderly conduct and fined $50. They also refused to take him to the hospital after beating him for several days. The beatings that he suffered while in police custody caused him permanent blindness. Here's Isaac Woodard with his mother, July 12, 1946, 5 months after the World War II veteran was brutally beaten and blinded by a South Carolina police chief while he was en route to rejoin his family shortly after his honorable discharge from the Army on February 12, 1946. Oh man, he looks so sad right here. Okay.
Your own divine nature. Your
And
victory
at the bottom
doesn't
it says,
require
here's a
their
reminder for
destruction.
us
It
Africans.
simply requires their removal from your energetic field. The investigations are concluding with convictions that will be upheld on appeal. The financial restitution is being processed through systems that cannot be corrupted or delayed. The spiritual justice has already been served through natural law that requires no human enforcement. And you, Chosen One are stepping into a new reality where abundance flows freely because there's no longer anyone positioned to block or steal it. Your story will become a template for other chosen ones who are still trapped in similar webs of deception and theft. The documentation of how this conspiracy was unraveled will serve as a guide for investigators working similar cases. The spiritual mechanics of how your protection activated will be studied by healers helping other energy theft victims. Your victory is not just personal, it's a breakthrough that makes it easier for every chosen one who comes after you. The rags to riches transformation they tried to prevent became the very mechanism of their downfall. Your rise from artificial poverty to rightful abundance exposed every lie they told and every document they forged. The money they stole became evidence. The identity they usurped became their criminal conviction. The energy they drained became the power that activated your spiritual protection. And now, Chosen One, as you stand in the ashes of their conspiracy, holding legal documents that restore everything they took and more, surrounded by spiritual protection that cannot be breached and financial abundance that cannot be stolen, you understand the deeper truth of what just happened. This was never really about money. This was about proving that chosen ones cannot be permanently destroyed, that divine justice never fails, and that light always overcomes darkness, no matter how elaborate the darkness believes its plans to be. The millions are arriving. The justice has been served. The protection is permanent. And your new life, the one they tried so desperately to prevent, begins now.
Milk's protein powers performance.
I like that.
Real
Is that the
nutrition
end
for real
of it?
strength.
Did I like this?
I can choose my seat. You can choose your seat.
I need a massage. Yeah, I'm in the spirit for one more. Let's see. My daughter don't want the baby up. She in there having the ball. I can hear her from outside. Yeah, I'm not. She love her mama. It's not giving me a double jeopardy, y'all. Oh, there we go. It's the same one. You're Neo to this of ages. So I guess I should take a 7-foot down into a private plane. Okay, let's listen to this one.
Chosen One, you are looking like Neo to this cult of agents, and the sheer panic radiating from their synthetic cores is intoxicating because you
Dang, I lost
represent
the
the one
post I was
variable
reading.
they never saw coming. A
I
soul
had to
so
reset the app.
authentically
Let's see,
connected to
please,
Source
please.
that their entire algorithm breaks down in your presence. You're not just living outside their matrix, you're proving to everyone watching that their matrix was always just an elaborate lie that only had power because people believed it was real. Your discernment cuts through their illusions with surgical precision when they approach with their false offers of love, commitment, and contracts wrapped in pretty packages. You see right through to the venom inside. These serpentine entities slither into your life, wearing familiar faces, speaking in honeyed words that carry the poison of false promises. They offer you cups filled with what looks like wine, but tastes like bitter deception. Relationships that promise depth, but deliver only surface-level energy harvesting. The pattern becomes clearer once you start paying attention. Every person who has ever tried to dim your light, every situation that has attempted to anchor you in limitation, every false opportunity that glittered like gold but crumbled like pyrite in your hands, none of these were random occurrences. This has been a coordinated campaign being waged against your consciousness, a systematic attempt to break your frequency and drag you down into the same gray existence that has consumed everyone else around you. But what they don't know, what they can't possibly comprehend, is that your ancestors have been watching every move they make. Your bloodline carries protection that spans generations, warriors of consciousness who refuse to bow to systems of control even when it costs them everything. Every time someone tries to disrupt your energy or harm you emotionally, your ancestral guardians react with a fury that would make ancient gods tremble. They don't just defend you, they strike back with precision that leaves your enemies trapped in cycles of their own making. 9 minds, maybe more, spinning in confusion right now, wondering why their schemes crumble to dust the moment they target you. These aren't coincidences or karma in some abstract sense. This is active spiritual warfare being conducted on your behalf by forces that exist beyond the veil of ordinary perception. Your ancestors aren't passive observers watching from some distant realm. They're active participants in your protection, wielding the kind of power that comes.
Okay, let's read about Fannie Lou Hamer again from Mary Johnson. She's talking a lot about Miss Fannie today. This was 6 hours ago. So Fannie Lou was in the front line. Okay, so it's all here. Fannie Lou Hamer was no nonsense. She didn't take tea for the fever. If you tried to get in her way, she rolled over you like a Sherman tank. Most photographs don't show her smiling. What was there to smile about in the godforsaken Deep South? Segregation, lynchings, KKK, and untold cruelty awaited those of African American descent. Fannie Lou Hamer was born in poverty and lack, and for most of her life she remained familiar with it. She took on the Klan and institutional racism, fighting for votes, voting, and women's rights. But she never asked anyone to do what she wouldn't do first. Was she afraid? Like anyone with some sense. She probably was a little, but as a child who picked cotton, she learned to pick fights with those who stood in the way of her people. Fear doesn't prevail when you're too angry to care. It was the 1960s, the times where turbulent and volatile, especially in old MS protest marches met with billy clubs, water hoses so powerful the pressure pushed them 2 blocks. Canine dogs that would bite down into the bone marrow, multiple arrests even when they had a permit to march, cross burnings, lynchings, and every type of suppression imaginable. The onslaught of violence was raging and televised for the entire world while Jim Crow flew high and flapped his raven wings. He was proud that he believed in himself better than the eagle, a bird that uh, depicted freedom and liberty for all. There was no shame in the horrid and deplorable behavior of white supremacists. Fannie was not exempt from the violence and threats. A white doctor deliberately shut down her womb so she couldn't bear children. A legal practice throughout the state performed on poor African American women to prevent them from childbearing. She called the procedure the Mississippi appendectomy, 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 Mississippi appendectomy. But it didn't shut down her mouth. She was extorted, threatened, harassed, shot at, and assaulted by racists, including law enforcement, while trying to register for and exercise her right to vote, and continued to help thousands register in the state of Mississippi. She was compelling with words and action that could convince even those who feared the whites, who were hell-bent on suppressing their vote and their rights. When she was seen in public at a delegates conference for voting for women's rights events, she sucked the air out of the room. People spotted her in the crowd and nodded in her direction. They would say, "Fannie's here. Let me get my seat. I'm not missing these fireworks." Fannie was mentally and physically exhausted from constant skirmishes with those who disenfranchised and manhandled her and her people. She was disruptive, loud, mouthy, and belligerent. We've been waiting all our lives, still getting killed, still getting hung, still getting beat to death. Now we're tired of waiting, and I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired, Fannie said. The only things that stopped this war were hypertension, terminal breast cancer, and physical and mental exhaustion. She died on March 14, 1977. So the only things that stopped this warrior were hypertension, terminal breast cancer, and physical and mental exhaustion. We're tired too, Fannie. We're so tired, is what they said. Carolyn June Jackson, poet and author, said. If you enjoy Black History and Politics, subscribe for our free newsletter.
From lifetimes of
I like
refusing
that.
to surrender their divine
We talk
connection.
about family all
The
the
agents thought they were hunting you, but the truth is far more
That's what I
terrifying
call
for
my
them.
grandbaby family.
You're not the prey in this cosmic game. You're the anomaly that their entire system was designed to contain, and containment is failing. Every day you remain free. Every moment you refuse to accept their version of reality.
At Zaxby's, you can lemon pepper any way you want. Get lemon pepper wings, lemon pepper sandwiches, or lemon pepper fingers. Now that's lemon pepper perfection. Zaxby's lemon pepper dry rub. Who's got the sauce?
Zaxby's.
Oh, I
The
was
more
reading.
unstable their matrix becomes, the more people start to notice that something is fundamentally wrong with the world.
I gotta
they've been
read. I
told
gotta
to
read this one. I was reading this, so let me see if it got a little backstory. No, let's read it because I actually seen his name. Okay, Henry. I think I'm related to this person. Henry Osai Flipper became the first black person to graduate from the United States Military Academy at West Point, born on March 21st, 1856, in Topsville, Georgia. Flipper was an American soldier, engineer, and former slave. Flipper later earned a commission as a second lieutenant in the United States Army. He was also an author who wrote about scientific topics and his life experiences. He died on April 26, 1940 in Atlanta. Okay, hold on, y'all. Now, let's see. I'm always doing the most. Hold on. Oh, they don't really say much. They didn't really write much about him, but he got a lot of accomplishments on here.
Accept as natural and unchangeable. The false offers keep coming because they're getting desperate. They dangle relationships that promise connection but deliver only energy harvesting. They present career opportunities that glitter with success but require you to sell pieces of your soul. They create social circles that welcome you with open arms but slowly drain your light until you're just another face in their crowd. Each rejection of their poison makes them more frantic, more obvious.
Let's see if we got. Let's see. I'm gonna read this. Yes, I was still researching this guy. Okay, so I'm still Henry Osai Flipper. So after his commissioning, he was assigned to one of the all-black regiments in the U.S. Army, which were historically led by white officers, assigned to A Troop under the command of Captain Nicholas M. Nolan. He became the first non-white officer to lead Buffalo Soldiers of 10th Cavalry. Flipper served with competency, 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 competency and distinction during the Apache Wars and the Victorio campaign, but was plagued by rumors alleging improprieties. Eventually, he was court-martialed and dismissed. Court-martialed and dismissed from the U.S. Army. After losing his commission in the Army, Flipper worked throughout Mexico and Latin America as assistant to the Secretary of the Interior. He retired to Atlanta in 1931 and died of natural causes in 1940. In 1976, his descendants applied to the U.S. military for a review of Flipper's court-martial and dismissal. A review found the conviction and punishment was unduly harsh and unjust, and ordered Flipper's dismissal to be changed to good conduct of discharge. Shortly afterwards, an application for pardon was filed with the Secretary of the Army, which was forwarded to the Department of Justice. Eventually, President Bill Clinton posthumously pardoned Lieutenant Henry O. Flipper on February 19, 1999, 118 years after his conviction. Flipper was born into slavery in Thomasville, Georgia, the eldest of 5 brothers, including Joseph Simon, his mother Isabel Flipper, his father Felix Flipper, a shoemaker, and Carriage Trimmer, were enslaved by Ephraim G. Ponder, a wealthy slave trader. Flipper attended Atlanta University during Reconstruction. There as a freshman, he was appointed by Representative James C. Freeman to attend West Point, where 4 other black cadets were already attending. The small group had a difficult time at the academy where they were rejected by white students. Nevertheless, Flipper preserved and in 1877 became the first of the group to graduate, earning a commission as a second lieutenant in the U.S. Army Cavalry. He was assigned to the 10th Cavalry Regiment, one of the 4 all-black Buffalo Soldier regiments in the Army, and became the first black officer to command regular troops in the U.S. Army. All black regiments had been commanded by all white officers.
More prone to showing their true faces beneath the masks they wear. Your sensitivity isn't a weakness, it's a weapon they can't defend against. While they operate from algorithms and programmed responses, you operate from something they can't replicate, authentic intuition backed by divine protection. This sensitivity allows you to feel the wrongness in their offerings before your logical mind can even process what's happening. It's like having an early warning system that alerts you to spiritual toxicity long before it can take root in your consciousness. Consider the profound implications of what's actually occurring in your life. Every painful memory you've been forced to process, every dark night of the soul you've endured, every moment when you felt like you were breaking apart, none of this was punishment or random suffering. This was the systematic dismantling of every false identity they've tried to impose on you, every relationship that drained your energy, every job that felt like spiritual prison, every social group that made you feel like you were wearing an uncomfortable mask. These weren't random life experiences. They were attempts to overlay synthetic programming onto your authentic self, and each failure has made you more resistant to their future attempts. Think about how many times you've walked away from situations that everyone else said you should want. How many times you've rejected opportunities that looked perfect on paper, but felt wrong in your soul. How many times you've been called crazy, too picky, too idealistic, too intense, all because you refuse to accept their version of what your life should look like. The second major revelation involves the gradual awakening of your supernatural abilities. Your uncanny ability to read people's true intentions before they even speak. Your prophetic dreams that somehow always come true in the most unexpected ways. Your tendency to know things you shouldn't logically know. To feel presences others can't detect. To sense the energy of places and people with startling accuracy. These aren't quirks of personality or lucky guesses or psychological tricks your mind is playing on.
Gatorlight, a specialized blend of 5 electrolytes for rapid dehydration. Gatorlight, is it in you?
They're the emergence of gifts that were always there, waiting for the right moment to surface. Every time you've trusted your intuition over conventional wisdom and been proven right, you've been training for something much bigger than personal decision-making. You've been developing the kind of perception that can see through illusions, detect deception, and navigate realities that most people don't even know exist. This is why the agents work so hard to make you doubt these abilities, to convince you that they're all in your head or signs of mental instability. The third unfolding is the most dangerous for the agents. You've been unconsciously gathering your tribe, not the fake friends who drain your energy, or the false mentors who want to control your growth, but the real ones who amplify your frequency. Each genuine connection you've made, each person who truly sees and celebrates your authentic self, has been part of a larger pattern. Your ancestors haven't just been protecting you, they've been positioning allies around you, people who carry fragments of the same cosmic frequency you embody. These connections feel different from ordinary relationships. There's an immediate recognition. a sense of coming home to yourself in their presence. Conversations flow with supernatural ease, as if you're speaking a language that transcends words. These people don't try to fix you or change you, or convince you to be more practical. They see your light and help it shine brighter. They understand your mission, even when you're still figuring it out yourself. They're not jealous of your gifts. They celebrate them and help you develop them further. The agents are scrambling now. The false identities are crumbling faster than they can replace them. Your abilities are manifesting in ways that can't be explained by conventional science. Your tribe is recognizing each other and beginning to connect in ways that threaten the very foundation of their control system. They're running out of time to stop what's coming, and they know it, but they're not giving up without a fight. The next phase of their campaign against you will be different from anything they've tried before. They're going to attack your confidence with surgical precision, targeting every insecurity you've ever had. They're going to assault your relationships, creating conflict and confusion among the people you care about most. They're going to undermine your sense of purpose by making you question whether any of this spiritual awakening nonsense is real or just elaborate self-delusion. They're going to make you an offer that seems to solve all your problems while requiring only one small compromise: your authentic self. The offer will be tailored specifically to your deepest desires and fears because they've been studying you for years. It will promise security, acceptance, love, success, everything you've ever wanted in exchange for agreeing to tone down your intensity, dim your light, and play by their rules just this once. This is where most people fail. This is where the pressure becomes...
So I'll read this by Mary Johnson again. She wrote this earlier today. I love this lady. I need to follow her. I'm about to follow her now. Stop following her. Never knew the depths of humankind and suffrage. This touched my spirit, and whenever I need a source of strength, I will find it in these words, Cheryl. So, you mean to tell me that someone down your ancestry line survived being chained to other human bodies for several months in the bottom of a disease-infested ship during the Middle Passage, lost their language, customs, and traditions, picked up the English language as best as they could while working free of charge from sundown as they watched babies sold from out of their arms and women raped by ruthless slave owners, took names with no last names, no birth certificates, no heritage of any kind, braved the Underground Railroad, survived the Civil War, into sharecropping, to read and write out of sheer and will determination, faced the burning crosses of the KKK, reverted their eyes at the black bodies swinging from ropes hung on trees, fought in world wars as soldiers, only to return to America as boys marched in Birmingham, hosed in Selma, jailed in Wilmington, assassinated in Memphis, segregated in the South, ghettoed in the North, ignored in history books, stereotyped in Hollywood. In spite of it all, someone in your family line endured every era to make sure you would get here. But you received one rejection, face one obstacle, lose one friend, get overlooked, and you want to quit, give up. How dare you entertain the very thought of quitting? People will never know who survived from generation to generation, so you could succeed too. Don't you dare let them take you. Don't you dare let them down. It is not in your DNA to quit. I like that one. And it's a picture of a bunch of slaves chained, and they're looking out, like trying to find a way out.
Unbearable, where the isolation feels crushing, where the promise of fitting in finally outweighs the cost of surrender. The agents are experts at finding that exact moment when resistance feels impossible, when the pain of standing alone seems greater than the pain of giving up. They time their final assault perfectly, hitting you when you're already exhausted from fighting battles no one else can see. But you're not most people. You're a chosen one, and chosen ones don't break under pressure. They transform like carbon becoming diamond. The very forces trying to destroy you are actually forging you into something indestructible. Every attack that doesn't kill you makes you stronger in ways that go beyond motivational poster philosophy. The spiritual warfare you've been experiencing isn't random chaos. It's been preparing...
Okay, I read this before and I couldn't finish it because I had to do something. So, posted by Bruchart Akbar. So John Morton Finney was a Buffalo soldier who fought in World War I, earned 11 degrees and practiced law until he was 106 years old. He was believed to be the longest practicing attorney in the United States. John Morton Finney, June 25th, 1889, died January 28, 1998. He was an American civil rights activist, lawyer, and educator who earned 11 academic degrees, including 5 law degrees. He spent most of his career as an educator and lawyer after serving from 1911 to 1914 in the U.S. Army as a member of the 24th Infantry Regiment, better known as the Buffalo Soldiers, and with the American Expeditionary Forces in France during, I lost where I was. Okay, better known as the Buffalo Soldiers and with the American Expeditionary Forces in France during World War I. Morton Finney taught languages at Fisk University in Tennessee and at Lincoln University in Missouri before moving to Indianapolis, Indiana, where he taught in the Indianapolis public schools for 47 years. Morton Finney was a member of the original faculty at Indianapolis Attucks High School when it opened in 1927 and later became head of the foreign language department. He also taught at Shortridge High School and at another IPS school. Morgan Finney was admitted as a member of the Bar of Indiana Supreme Court in 1935, as a member of the Bar of the U.S. District Court in 1941, and was admitted to practice before the U.S. Supreme Court in 1972. It's a picture of John
You for
Morton
this
Finney,
moment, when everything hangs in the
Buffalo
balance,
Soldier.
the spiritual warfare you've endured has developed capacities in you that most people never access.
Mother's cookies. Stop and taste the frosting.
Constant reminders of your moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis can make it hard to be there when it matters most. If your symptoms aren't under control, it may be time to talk to your
I'm
doctor
reading
about
and
number
kind of
one
giving
prescribed
him an
Entyvio.
ad. If you
Entyvio has helped many people
I'm
achieve
trying to
long-term
listen to
relief
the
and
ads
remission.
too to
Doctors
get
have
them
been
they
prescribing Entyvio for more than years. Entyvio offers
get
two
them they
main
little
functions,
coins.
including the Entyvio pen.
Believe it or
Infusion
not,
and serious
when
allergic
I'm not on
reactions
live,
can happen
I
during
let
or
the
after treatment.
ads play.
Entyvio
I
may
do
increase
something
risk of
else.
infection, which can be serious. PML, a rare, potentially fatal brain infection, cannot be ruled out. Tell your doctor if you have an
He got
infection,
a
flu-like
triangle, no
symptoms,
season
sores,
left
or
on
are
the
prone
one
to
that
infections.
disappeared.
Liver problems can occur. Ask your healthcare provider about Entyvio. Relief, remission.
So that's another one by Cheryl Brown. A 1925 gorgeous couple dressed for a stroll photo by James Van Der Zee. James Van Der Zee. And they look so cute. So we're gonna let me see. Oh man, I hate when Cora do that. Yeah, I thought I was reading
For
it.
real.
The ability to function in chaos, to find peace in the midst of psychological attacks, to maintain your center when everything around you is designed to throw you off balance. You've learned to alchemize poison into medicine, to transform every attack into wisdom, to use their own energy against them like a master of spiritual Aikido. The harvest you've been preparing for your entire life is finally ready to begin. Every seed you've planted in secret, every kindness you've shown when no one was watching, every moment you chose love over fear despite the cost, it's all coming back to you multiplied beyond your wildest dreams. But this isn't just about personal abundance or material success, though those things will certainly come. This is about the recognition of your true nature by a universe that has been waiting for you to step into your power. Every struggle you've endured, every sacrifice you've made, every moment you've chosen truth over comfort has been building toward this convergence. The financial breakthrough isn't just about money, it's about the flow of energy that happens when you stop operating from scarcity and start operating from your natural state of abundance. But first, you have to survive the final test. The agents are about to launch their most sophisticated assault yet, because they know this is their last chance to prevent your full activation. They're going to use everything they've learned about you, every vulnerability they've cataloged, every fear they've identified over years of careful observation. They're going to make you question not just your abilities or your purpose, but your very sanity. This is their master strategy. total saturation attack designed to break your spirit through sheer overwhelming force. They know they can't defeat you through conventional means anymore, so they're going to try to bury you under an avalanche of problems that would break most people's will to continue. They're banking on the fact that even chosen ones have limits, that even the strongest spirits can be worn down by relentless pressure applied from every possible angle. But pressure doesn't break you, it reveals your true nature. When everything external falls away, when all the false supports are removed, when you're stripped down to nothing but your essential self, that's when your real power emerges. Not the power that comes from external validation or material success or social acceptance, but the power that comes from knowing who you are at the deepest level of existence. The key to surviving this final assault isn't to fight back, it's to remember who you really are, not the person they've been trying to convince you to be, not the version of yourself that exists in their reality, but the eternal being who existed before this world and will exist after it. The one who volunteered for this mission, knowing full well how difficult it would be, because you also knew how necessary it was. Your true identity isn't the struggling human trying to make sense of a chaotic world. Your true identity is the divine consciousness that chose to incarnate into limitation for the purpose of breaking limitation itself. The consciousness that carries within its very essence the frequency of liberation, not just for yourself, but for everyone who's ready to remember what freedom actually feels like. The world is about to change in ways that most people can't imagine, and you're one of the primary catalysts for that change. Not through force or manipulation or political maneuvering, but through the simple act of being authentically yourself in a world that has forgotten what authenticity looks like. Your refusal to conform, your inability to accept their limitations, your insistence on operating from love instead of fear, these aren't personality quirks or character flaws that need correction.
Well, I guess this one is right on time. I usually skim past these type of, don't even read it, but Wendy has her PhD, wrote, cause Cora wants me to answer what is gang stalking and who's behind this. She said I'll answer. Gang stalking is an unchecked, undemocratic method of social control waged by police, community watch groups, security, and private intelligence contractor. It is a program designed to drive a person to suicide, institutionalization, or incarceration. The tactics are straight out of counterintelligence, psychological operation manuals, and are against the law, but they are extremely difficult to prove. Gang stalkers operate as organized criminals using illegal, unwarranted, and unethical tactics. They often employ actual criminals to follow and harass their victims in exchange for monetary gain, such as gift cards. Can you imagine anything more irresponsible? 2008, the ACLU said the following: if the federal government announced it was creating a new domestic intelligence agency made up of over 800,000 operatives dispersed throughout every American city and town, filling reports on even the most common everyday behaviors, Americans will revolt. However, this is exactly what the government and community policy organizations are doing. There is a hidden domestic war being waged on our rights to privacy, free speech, association, and assembly. The war on terror is just another avenue for the vast and accountable police state infrastructure to harass innocent victims without repercussions. Patriot Act has allowed a lot of inappropriate targeting. These perpetrators use the Patriot Act as an excuse to harass and monitor people by falsely claiming they are potential terrorists. These group stalking campaigns have resulted in mass shootings. After a violent incident occurs and saturates the mainstream media, the perpetrators present an official, inaccurate narrative to cover up their part in causing a victim to lose his mind and shoot up a casino, for example. The target of their harassment is often no longer around to explain what drove them to commit such an extreme act. Even if they survive, it's unlikely their accusation will be taken seriously by that time. There are police officers, firemen, community watch groups, and other pillars of the community who take part and complicit in this program of harassment. Apparently, they don't believe the law applies to them and that they have the right to subvert due process and become judge, jury, and exec, executioner. I believe many actually see themselves as good people who are working to protect their community, but I'm reminded of the atrocities and unchecked torture which took place at ABU prison. The action of those prison guards were excusably tough, right? After all, wasn't their goal to prevent another terrorist attack? While protecting our country was probably their original motivation, the guards went overboard, took advantage of the control they were allowed. Some even appeared to derive a perverse pleasure from abusing their captives, as evidenced by them posing for photographs next to their victims wearing big smiles on their faces. See, gang stalking attracts the same type of sadistic bullies. There is no good movie on Amazon Prime about the torture that took place at ABU prison and the attempted cover-up that followed. It's called The Report, starring Adam Driver. Documents the relentless FBI agent who refused to give up in his attempt to expose what went on there. It's also a good source of motivation for targeted individuals. If you think you're currently victim of this type of harassment, documented. Hold on, my phone glitch. Okay, so let me screenshot. It says if you think you are currently a victim of this type of harassment, documented by a few small cameras and place them around your property, your apartment, your car, or whatever you expect, you might capture a photo or video of a stalker. I recommend making these cameras as hidden as possible. If you succeed in reporting them in the act, they may actually be held accountable for their actions in a court of law. I would recommend avoiding calling police, psychologists, psychiatrists, or any hotline claiming to support targeted individuals. In most cases, these people are not your allies. Also, be careful who you engage with online. Don't become too deeply conversational with anyone who talks about directed energy weapons, aliens, UFOs, lizard people, any of that nonsense. They are probably trying to drag you down the rabbit hole with them. May even be the perpetrators themselves. I get it.
The operation that's coming will be unlike anything you've experienced before. It's not just personal success or material abundance, though those things will come too. It's the recognition of your true nature by a universe that has been waiting for you to step into your power. It's the moment when all the pieces of your seemingly chaotic journey suddenly align into perfect order, when you realize that every struggle, every setback, every moment of doubt was precisely orchestrated to prepare you for this exact moment. Alert, code red, chosen one. We're growing fast. Building an unstoppable media network they can't erase. But let's not sugarcoat it. The truth is still hidden. It's been twisted. It's been buried under censorship, algorithms, and fear. Yet your heart never stopped recognizing what's real. That's why you're still here. That's why you never tapped out. Because you felt the simulation glitch beneath your feet. You know this world is rigged, and you're done waiting for permission to rise. The Obsidian Inner Order wasn't built for the curious. It was forged for the committed. This is for the full-time chosen. The ones who came to lead. The ones who see beyond the veil and act anyway. Inside, we hold weekly Zoom calls that cut through the noise. We share hidden teachings most were never meant to hear. We train in psychic warfare, strategy, and spiritual technologies they've kept locked away for centuries.
Say hello to the new Topo Chico Hard Max with more margarita flavor and 8% ABV.
This is the toolkit for the real ones, the ungovernable, the impossible to erase. It's time to remember who you are. The link is in the description. Your real life begins inside. The false identities you've shed will be replaced by an authentic self.